There were times I was lost, dark had fear, couldn't see through the rain. In the end it was clear, hit the fan. I was more than one man who was there to lend a hand. Together we'd stand, always had my back, my guardian soldier. Team pulled together, united we conquer. Blessed is he who in the name of charity carry me when I'm weak, straight through the valley of darkness. Pitch blackness, the heartless, regardless, fear couldn't part us. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. We ride, ride. I am my brother's keeper. Keep on holding strong. United we stand, divided we fall. Together we belong. I am my brother's keeper. Keep on holding strong. United we stand, divided we fall. Together we belong. I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper.
Welcome back, Moto fans. We've got a great show lined up for you today where we will be going inside the helmet with another Aussie privateer and industry guest. Today's show is brought to you by Iro, Five Gloves, Works Racing, Graphics by Aqua, Death Grip Products, Southeast Pools, Wolf Building Compliance, Seaview Carpentry and Maintenance, Kimber Constructions, and the March sponsor of our motocross wall calendars, Civilight Civil Construction. All right, it's time to introduce our guest for this episode, Joel Milesevic. Welcome to the Moto Asylum, Joel.
Thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here.
No, it's awesome to have you, mate. I saw you race out at Wani for the first round of the Senior Vics a week or so ago. How'd that go for you?
Yeah, it wasn't racing for me. It was just survival. It wasn't good by any means. It's probably like the worst I've had on a bike in a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, like no excuses, but I was sick for like a month coming into it. I don't know what I had, but then I ended up going to Hastings 2 weeks in. I almost was better. I just kept riding in the rain. And then got home, went to work, and I was sick. Crook as a dog. Yeah. So I was leading up to Wani, it was like 3.5 weeks. Crook as, no good. And then I had my coaching day the day before, all day at Terralgan. And I was not prepared. And I knew I wasn't, and I shouldn't have raced. But I was like, I'll just have a go anyway. And I took off in practice, came around the first corner, and there was like a mud pit. And I was like, oh no, I'm in for a long day.
Yeah.
I was so unprepared, I shouldn't have even ridden. But I persisted, and then I ended up landing on my back. That sucked, even worse. And then it was a pretty bad day.
Yeah, the conditions were pretty brutal, especially like even if you weren't coming into it sick, it was super hot. The track was absolutely gnarly. It was a pretty high level of competition. Like, what do you think about the event as a whole?
Yeah, it was good. Like, I'm spewing that I didn't get to enjoy it more, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like, I struggled so hard. Like, last time I raced Wani, it was belting rain, but it wasn't this soft. But prior to that, like, I haven't ridden or raced professionally in a long time. The track was never this way. It wasn't like, say, train tracks. It was like one line around the whole track or two lines at max. And in those lines, it was pretty rough, and I'm not really familiar with it. Like, I only ride public tracks like Park 4 or Hastings or PBI. I don't have the privilege of going to a deeply ripped track with, like, say, 10 other riders near your level. So for me, the track was just, I was so out of balance, and that made me not enjoy the event.
Yes,
like, I was struggling so bad. I was just like, get me out of here. But I mean, it was good. It was good to have a lot of riders there. Like, for me, if I was training to be at a national, that is like the perfect event. Like, everyone was there, and you can also watch like Webster and Beaton and base yourself off them as well, not just your own class. So it was good.
Yep. I've got a question. I've had like 6 people or so mention it since the Wonthaggi round of the Vics. Like, why do you ride a 2-stroke? We saw you last year at the last round on a borrowed 4-stroke at Blue Rock, and you absolutely dominated. And I think a lot of people saw that, and then they saw you back on the 2-stroke, and they were like, why does he ride the 2-stroke? Like, he dominates on a 4-stroke. Obviously, very different conditions, very different tracks, and your prep coming into it was probably a bit different too. But yeah, why do you love the 2-stroke so much?
So people find it strange, but like, I would actually do better on the 450. Like, if I was at Wonthaggi in a 450, I believe I would have done better. I'm 90 kilos without gear on.
Yeah.
Like, I could lose a couple of kilos, but I'm a heavy person. And the reason I ride the 2-stroke is it's easy for me to maintain and it's cheap. I can rebuild it. I've always done it. My dad's taught me everything I know. And it's just simple and it's just fun. I've had that bike since 2019. 2019 model, 6 years old. You couldn't imagine having a 450 for 6 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really enjoyed riding my friend's 450. I think it was Warrnambool, Western region, and the barrel came loose. But since that day, 8 months ago, whatever it was, I only rode my bike for 10 or 12 hours leading up to Monthaggi on the weekend.
Yep.
And 6 of those hours would have been like coaching days. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I don't mind 4-strokes. I honestly don't. Like when I went to Europe, 4-strokes, and I really enjoyed it. And that was like the first time I rode a 4-stroke pretty much. Like in my junior career, it was 2-strokes. And then, yeah, if I get the chance to take this sport a bit more serious, like as in, you know, work balance with life and being able to train, I'll definitely get a 450. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
100%. But I'll never get rid of my 250 because I got the 500 as well. And Jess, my wife, has a 125. So we've got all of them.
Yeah.
It's good times, but
Yeah, it just makes it easier for you in terms of maintenance, cheaper, and it makes it doable.
yeah, like when I rode Corey's 450, I was going through a tyre every time I rode it.
Yeah.
Chain sprockets are chewing out. Like, it might not seem as expensive for some riders, but for me, like, I was chewing through things hard.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't get
Hardcore.
that on the 250.
Not as much, no.
Yeah.
Not as much. It's just, obviously, the power doesn't ruin, like, the chain sprockets as much and the tyres. And the power of the 450 and getting the weight and the traction through the bike, it just destroys things.
Yes, yeah.
But I do enjoy driving the 450. It was so much easier. Gear up everywhere, power whenever I wanted it.
Yeah.
Like, just so easy.
Yeah. Do you find it harder to throw around?
So not in certain situations, the 450 is more difficult, but it's weird. Like, they feel kind of light. I haven't had much experience with other 450s,
Yeah.
but I find the Yami feels pretty light and nimble. Granted, it wasn't my bike. It wasn't set up perfectly for me, you know, but I find it pretty nimble. The 2-stroke, though, those quick little, like, movements where you want to just, like, change. You know how Ken Roxon changes direction real quick in Supercross?
Yes.
Like, he just turns on the dime. That is sort of like a 2-stroke thing.
Yeah.
That's how, that sort of action, I feel that easy on a 2-stroke for sure.
Yeah, unreal. So the Milesevic name is pretty well known. You know, anyone that's been around for a little while knows you, obviously, and more recently your sister as well, Emma. So where did it all start for you? Like, how'd you get into the sport?
So my father, Nick, he was always into dirt bikes, but his father wasn't, or his mum, my grandparents. He just self-taught himself everything that he knew. And my auntie Olivia, who was actually a really good rider back in her day. Like, she used to race.
Still rides all right.
Yeah, she used to Cameron Taylor on 85s or 80s.
Yep.
And they were like battling. She was, I remember watching her as a kid. I was like, she's fast. I'm like, you know. So Dad was the reason everything happened. And it was a simple thing of, I think it was my birthday or Christmas. They wanted to get me like a motorized vehicle, like a 4-wheel drive thing to sit in and drive around. But I was already pretty heavy-handed as a 2-year-old. And Dad's like, go on and get it. And he just across the road and it's QR50.
Yep.
And then, you know, he obviously still rode. He goes, oh, Joel's going to break this in like 2 seconds. It's like battery-powered Chinese thing. So he goes across the road, gets me a 50. And that was it. That's the story. And I sort of just fell in love with it. Like, my first ride was terrible. I just held the throttle pinned, hit a curb straight into the house. Like, just BMX helmet on, like, dude. But I don't know. It was just, I always loved riding, always.
So were you the oldest sibling in your family to ride? Is it just you and Emma?
So I'm the oldest. Emma's 2 years younger, and we actually have a younger sister who's 2 years younger than Emma, Elizabeth, and she's like more natural talented than Emma on a bike.
Yeah, yeah.
It just wasn't her path, but her natural talent's like funny. As we went, you know, do you ever remember the track Barrable?
Oh, I haven't been out there, no.
Anyway, it was the old Geelong track, and it was probably like one of the best tracks like in Australia. And yeah, she didn't ride for like, I don't know how long. She'd ride like once a year.
Yeah.
You know, bust out the 125, and dude, she's like battling C graders and like getting fired up.
Yeah, yeah.
And the next race beats another one, and it's just ridiculous. But yeah, so it's me, Emma, and Liz.
Yep.
We all like dirt bikes, and Liz's kids now. they're like toddlers, love dirt bikes.
But she doesn't ride at all
She
anymore?
doesn't ride anymore, but she loves dirt bikes. Like I had Arlo, my nephew, on the front of like a farm bike. I think he's just turned 3, and he was like turning the throttle and everything. I was just holding the clutch to make sure we didn't go anywhere we didn't need to. But yeah, our whole family was like just rev heads.
Yeah. So at what point did that change into racing, or did you start racing straight away? Did your dad race?
Dad did race, not when I was around. He's pulled the reins on his own racing to help his sister, my auntie. So when I was around, all I ever seen my dad do was ride. But that slowly progressed to less riding as I did more riding.
Yeah.
And he had a bit of an injury. He got jumped on at Bacchus one day and dislocated his elbow in the middle of building a house. So it sort of really, I think it put perspective for him.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But for me, I got a KX60 when I was 5, Taylor Potter's old KX60. And I used to literally, man, like ride around in a paddock in 10 acres, just in a circle in 6th gear, just all day. And then we just did club days at Bacchus. Like, we never took anything serious. We didn't come into the sport like knowing like an A grader or a B grader or another family. We never went to the track. Like, there was no texting or Facebook, like, meet me at the track. It was just me and my dad and like my mum and whatever. And we'd just go to the track because we wanted to. So then it was just club days. I think my first one was 2002 or 2003. And like, I did pretty good, but it was the only track I rode. Like, I won everything I entered, and I was C grade at the time, and I was beating B graders. When I was B grade, I was beating A graders, but it was the only track I rode, and it was just didn't know. Like, we just did a few Western regions. Like, it took a long time. Like, I raced the Aussies in 04, and I won the Aussies. I still don't understand how. Like, we went to Tasmania. Like, we had a caravan. My bike was a 2001 model.
Yeah.
Like, tires are second hand. Like, we had the old cheap helmet, like those real cheap helmet with the flames on the side of them. And even then, like, I didn't even know what I was racing. Like, I thought it was just another club day. Like, it didn't
compute. Yeah.
No, it didn't. Like, we did the sport because we loved it. We didn't, like, I wasn't born into it. Like, this is your only, like, you know what I mean? We just did it because we loved it. I'd be waking up at like 6, like, let's go riding. I'd be watching like Travis Pastrana, Revelations before we go, and like, it was just a love for something.
And was Emma racing at that stage as well?
So Emma started riding at a younger age, like probably 3 or so. I remember Emma always nagging to race, like big time. She'd always be like, I want to race. But like at that time, like, Emma wasn't nowhere near the type of rider she is now. Like, nothing came natural to her. She struggled. She had a lot of crashes, a lot of injuries. She didn't have at that time like the mongrel in her or like that.
Yeah. The drive.
She loved the idea of it. I thought anyway. Maybe she'll tell you something different, but to me it was like she loved the idea of it, but not like actually racing. Just the idea of being able to race.
Yes.
But like, we raced in the same class one year at Monza. I'll never forget, I was battling for the lead, and she got in my way, and I crashed and lost the race. Or it was either I crashed, or she got in my way, and the guy passed me like the last lap. It
would have been a tense drive home.
I was just like, you should have moved. But it's hard. Like, what can you do? I should have picked a different line.
So for your own riding, like, at what point then did it become more serious? Did you start to think, all right, this could be a pathway for me?
It's strange. Like, I think I took it serious the whole time. Like, I never had that moment when I was like, I need to be serious. Like, I always took riding serious. It was probably like off the bike I didn't take serious.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like click and go, I need to train. Like, I never needed to, like, until I was like senior and went to Europe. But for me, it was like I took riding serious the whole time. Like, I didn't have to have someone push me to be faster or to try something. Like, I was always just trying to be better. And just my natural instinct, if that makes sense. Riding wise, I don't know. I always took it serious. I used to be pretty scared and nervous, but I still wanted to,
So who was influencing you at that stage? Were you like watching and following the sport, like what was happening in Europe, and were you watching it on TV or the US, or did you have someone over here, like someone that was older that was guiding you at all or coaching you?
So my dad literally taught me everything that I know. So coaching wise, we had Shane Metcalf was the Yamaha team coach. So this is, if you quickly fast forward to 2007 when I was in the Yamaha team, onwards, I had a few coaching days with him, which I love Shane. He's the best.
Yep.
Like, he's a straight up, honest guy. I've always got along with him. But coaching-wise, that's pretty much it. All of it was my dad. So my auntie had foxtail back in the day. That was like the big thing. So she would like tape the AMA or like the bar to bar, because we didn't know anything. I didn't even know there was racing outside of my own house.
Yeah.
You know, like, so then I would always start watching bar to bar, and I was like on repeat all the time. And it was like Stewart, and it was Carmichael. I think it was like the end of Mike Brown. So this was like 01, 02, 03, but I wasn't, as a kid, I struggled to watch the racing. I'd rather watch like a documentary like, say, Terra Firma or Travis Pastrana's one, or like, there's like a Mini Warriors. Did you ever see that one? It's like Mini Warriors 3 with like Zach Osborne and all that. But
No,
yeah,
I don't think so.
that's who I looked up to, all them guys. Like, I just watched them on TV. I'm like, that's sick. And then Supercross Masters.
Yes.
You know, you had McGrath, and then like at the time I looked up to Shane, like when he was on that CR, because he had the eye injury, and I just thought, like, you know, because Dad explained it to me one day, we went out in the track and, you know, talking about things, and he mentioned that, and I just thought to myself, I'm like, how does he do it? Like, how does he do it? Like when he can't see?
Yeah.
And like instantly, I was only a kid, but instantly, I'm like, that's sick. Like, makes you that. Yeah, just
That's a bad dude.
Yeah. Just Stewart, Shane Metcalf, and then I seen, you know, like McGrath, RC, like they were the main guys. And I followed him with Stewart for most of my growing up years. Like, he was the guy I was like, I want to be like that, because he'd just do things that no one else would do.
Yeah.
And back then, you know, you didn't have Instagram telling you that. It was like, I watched everything, and you'd see the way he turns and the way he jumps. Like, he was on a 125. And there was this massive quad into a berm, and like half the 250 class wasn't doing it or more. And he's just doing this massive one, and you look at the crowd and you turn. There's this massive triple, like, and on a 125, like, they're massive. And it was those little like things I was like, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
You know?
You had a very successful junior career. Who were you sort of racing against? Who was coming up through the sport with you?
So I raced Hayden Melrose, I think. Pretty sure we raced for the junior Aussie title in 04.
Yeah.
I ended up I was able to win that. I'm pretty sure it was him that got runner up. And then when I went to the junior Yamaha team, that's probably, so that was 2007. I was on a small 85. That's when I sort of probably started to notice people. You know, you kind of just go to the track, you go home. We kept to ourselves, but I started to notice because I was on the team. Like, Dylan Long was my teammate, Steve Bennett, like Michael Crugnali, like, they were the teammates at the time. And then my time went big wheel, it was like Dylan Long.
Yeah.
Like, he was the guy to beat, sort of thing. And then went 125s, and then there was a few others, like Dylan was still around, Jake Emanuele, like all them. But then when I'd race the Aussies, it was a Scotty Mann on an 85 big wheel from Queensland, and Courtney Duncan.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure she got second to me at the Aussies in Mafra in 09.
Yeah. How old were you at that point?
So 2009, I was born in 95. So
14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was my second year on big wheel, first year on a 125.
So Kenny asked me to ask you about something that you said once on the podium after winning that. They said, who'd you like to thank? And you said, I'd like to thank Fox. I'm not sponsored by Fox, but I really like...
Yeah, so in 04, my auntie got me some real nice Fox gear. And do you remember, like, Stuart, the Foxy, we used to have, like, all red and have, like, a yellow, like, elbow patch or, like, that real nice gear.
Yeah.
The commentator kept saying, John Milesevic, Fox Racing. And then they kept saying it. And then on the podium, I grabbed my trophy. I said, thanks, my mum and dad. I'm like, and I'm not really sponsored by Fox, but I'd like to be.
Yeah.
And it's in the magazine, the quote. I can't believe I said that. But like, the trophy was up like past my head.
Yep.
But yeah, the Fox Racing, Joel Milesevic, I'm like, I wish.
Did you pick up a Fox sponsorship after that?
No.
Mate, that would have been worth it while just to do that. That would have been classic.
The other thing too was like Stuart was in Fox.
Yeah.
Carmichael's in Fox.
All the big dogs.
Like,
yeah.
Dude, like back then, like we had real simple life. Like I didn't have an exhaust on my bike. didn't have graphics. Like, Dad cut the numbers out, the contact. Like, dude, it was so basic. A Ford AU wagon with a trailer. Like, we still got the trailer. Like, no channel. Like, just, we were basic as. We were more basic than, like, the bush bashers these days. So, they're looking up to someone who had Fox gear. I was like, that's sick. Because we had the shift gear at the time. But, shift was a bit cheap and whatever.
Yep.
But, yeah, one set of gear.
Yeah, that was just that step above. Yeah. No, that is so cool. So, tell me a little bit more about your junior career and sort of where that went, because you raced at the Junior Worlds.
Yeah, so 2009 I ended up winning those Aussies, and then 2010, I think I was third in New South Wales on a 125, Lake Macquarie maybe, or something like that. And then we had Murray Bridge in 2011, and I won the Vics that year. I was actually riding real well. That was I think my riding actually stepped up, and it wasn't due to anything. It was just, I think I just got to that age. I just got a bit more fight in me. So I ended up winning the Vics, and then the Aussies I got second to Hamish Harwood, but I didn't ride good. I rode pretty bad. It was wet a few days, and I just choked. There was like massive ruts coming out of like
Where
the
was
start gates. Murray Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
It was like massive ruts coming out the start gates. I've never done it before. Like, I was just like looking at them going, how am I going to get through this? Like,
It was in your head.
yeah, it was in my head, and I was just struggling. I was just no good. So I ended up getting second, I think, there. And then what happened was that year I represented Australia for the World Juniors in Italy, Cingoli. So that's where Digger Racing over there, they're a KTM-based team that races the European Series, but they hire out like their truck and services to Team Australia. So they take our bikes around and take us to like the practice track, the test and all that sort of stuff. I remember I got there and I was just like, this is sick.
Yeah.
It was like someone's I rocked up and my bike's ready. It's like, dude, like that never happens, like I've rocked up, it's got new tyres, like all the stuff. And they're like, what do you need? And the truck's there, and I'm just like, this is sick. That went pretty bad though. Yeah.
Why is that?
Like I didn't ride too bad. Like I did pretty good, but the track was like concrete, like rubber. Again, like, I'm not used to it. It was up like these massive hills, and I just struggled. Like I tried my hardest. Like Joey Savage was there. Like they weren't that much quicker than me, but things didn't go my way. Like I come down this hill, and you do like a off camber to turn up a hill, and I washed out, and that's where I hit my shoulder.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do any good. And then the year later, I was a senior rider, first year seniors, and they put me down the list again because I was only 17, and you were allowed to race the World Juniors. And I was on a KTM then, and it was good. That was a good one, but still not as good as it should have been.
Yeah.
I remember I seen Josh Coppins, and he goes, "You need a good qualifying because in Bulgaria, the inside gates are like the only gates you could make a start work from." I qualified terrible.
Yeah.
Like the track was gnarly, man. Like I remember walking out and you're holding onto the fence. Like it was that steep. Like it was so steep. Like nothing I've seen. Like big jumps. Like, but I'm racing Tim Geyser. Like Tim Geyser was the EMX 125 champ at the time. There was a lot of riders in that race now. It blows my mind. Like Yasakonis. Like I was racing him. Like, dude, didn't even know you existed until you were on the Husky team. But I was racing him. So I think I got 8th, but I had some real good race. I had to come through the back of the pack. It was like 46 degrees, stinking hot, no water. Like the country was pretty gnarly. Like we didn't have any food at the hotels, just like hams and salamis and stuff like that. Like it was different. It was an eye opener. But then what happened from there was I rode pretty good, and the Digger Racing team goes, "Hey, we need a fill-in rider for our EMX 250 race in a week's time in Italy." And then that's how that all started. So the results weren't perfect on paper, but I rode real good. Like I done well. And then ended up going to there and doing that race for them. But yeah, I hurt myself again.
So for a kid from Australia, like you said, you grew up sort of with a very simple sort of approach to racing from your equipment and the support and everything like that. Was it overwhelming to go to Europe and see how it was like done over there, and especially at an event of that caliber and with the fanfare that goes along with it?
I was more excited.
Yeah.
Because like
So you're frost on
I
it.
was there and I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, this is sick. Because it's something I always looked up to. Like, yeah, I was nervous. I'm like, who's this guy? Who's that guy? Like, Paul Jonas won the 85s that year in Italy. Like, didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Had the ugliest technique. But I'm like, watching him, like, damn, he's fast. Like, you know, you don't know anyone's names. And I really enjoyed that part too. I didn't know who anyone was.
Yeah.
So I wasn't looking at him like, oh, you know, they did this, and this at one, you know.
You found that out afterwards?
Yeah, like, but you're on a blank canvas.
Yeah.
And it was cool. But I was pumped to be there. Like, I loved it. If I got a phone call tomorrow, I'd go.
Yeah.
Like, if I could. If someone just said, here, Joel, here's money, here's this, here's that. Like, I don't care what bike it was, like, I'll just do it.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it was sick.
So were the tracks over there at that time like different to what you were racing over here?
Yeah. But they're different in a good way. Like Bulgaria, that was steep. I remember we'd come out of a corner third, I'd be shifting down to second halfway up the hill on a 125. And this 125 went real well. Quick side note, 2012 Junior Aussies, Hunter Lawrence was on a KTM 125.
Yeah.
Damn, the KTM sounds good. Back then, the KTMs had a mad like miss up top. Big time splutter. I don't know what it was. It might have just been like the way it was jetted or ports or I don't know. But I remember hearing this one KTM and it was like singing perfect. And I'm like, that sounds like my bike from Europe. I'm like, it can't be because, you know, that's from Europe.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
I bump into Darren Lawrence and he goes, guess what? Okay. Is he got my bike? I said it as a joke. He's like, yeah, that's your one. There was someone that posted some photos from the Junior Aussies not long ago. I forget who it was. It might have been 94 Visuals.
Yeah, I saw them. Yeah, it was.
That bike,
it was
Hunter's
Andrew,
riding with 46. That's that one. Has a Domer exhaust on it. Like, yeah, I was tripped out. I'm like, dude, what? Like, yeah, anyway. I wish my dad could have bought me a bike back from Europe.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, Europe was good, man. Like, I really thrived being there.
So 2012, before you went to Europe, you had a pretty good year in Australia.
Yeah, so it was my first senior year.
Yep.
And I just made the conversion from Yamaha to KTM. So, you know Benny Markowitz?
Yeah, of course.
His father, Steve.
Yep.
He put together a team. And he was the man behind me racing that year. He bought some bikes and really helped us out. It wouldn't have happened the way it did without him. And it was good. I was nervous, man. Like, first senior year, like, I felt like, you know, I had a lot to give and a lot to prove. And my first race was at Wonthaggi, and I done good. It was an open race, and I was racing like Monia, Mosey, Todd Waters.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Killer's Row.
Yeah, and I whole shotted all 8 races because I raced MX2 and under 19s.
Yeah,
whole shotted every race, dude. I was fit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I won both Vics that year. So both under 19s and MX2, I was racing like Dylan Long and all that. But like at Wonthaggi, you know, I beat Waters, I beat Mosey, I beat Monia, I beat all the top guys. Like it was good. Where was the first round back then? Oh, it was Conondale.
So this is the Nationals now.
Yeah, struggled, crashed qualifying. Guy crashed at the top of a tabletop. I couldn't see him because of the sun. I hit his bike and jumped it and
Yes,
bent the bike up. Yeah. And then first round didn't go so good. I don't know if I got on the podium. Then we go to the second round. Coonabarra ran. I think I finished second overall that day. I won a roto. Like, I was probably the guy to beat. It's just I crashed.
So were you racing MX2 at this stage?
Sorry. So in
the
the Nationals, I was under 19s, which is MX3 back.
Yes.
So MX3.
Now, yep.
Yeah. So we go to round 2, and I done some training actually with Ty Simmons. Rode at his place a little bit. It was real cool. I had seen something outside the sport, you know, went on his quads, like pig hunting, and, you know, It was cool. Like, he had, at the time, he was sponsored by, I think, Polaris, had Dr. Buggies and stuff. That was cool. Like, it was cool to see something outside of the sport because I hadn't at that stage. It was just me, my parents, and dirt bikes and sisters. So round 2, I do good. I washed out the front wheel in one of the races, had to come from a fair way back. But it was like Mitch Norris at the time. Dylan Long and myself were probably the fastest in the group.
Yep.
And then Kane Lamont started doing real well. Got a 2-2 stroke, and then he started coming up. But like it was Jay Wilson and heaps of good riders. But
That's crazy because Mitch Norris is on my program this year.
yeah, ask him about it.
Yeah.
He'll love it. We always have a laugh, you know. If he could ride how he did in 2012, dude, he'd smoke everyone. We'll roar, and we'll just out to win. There was no subconscious of life.
No history and
There was no like go to work or
yeah.
nothing. Just your mind was clear. You were just racing. So I got second, and then we went to Wonthaggi, round 3. Crashed.
I'm sensing a bit of a theme here.
Yeah, I pushed to my limit. Like
Yeah.
all I knew was ride to the best I could. Like I wasn't scared to crash. That was probably an issue. It definitely was. But like I would do whatever it took. Even if I wasn't the best guy on the day, I was willing to die for it. Like I didn't care. It didn't cross my mind to back off. I'd rather crash than back off.
Yeah.
And you know, Wonthaggi, you get the first few corners, you turn left, you got those rights, that little drop down. That drop down used to be bigger, and then the inside had a hump. So it was more of a G out. You couldn't just fly off it. And I can't remember. Emma was right there. She's seen it all happen. And I can't remember if it was qualifying or the first race. I might have been qualifying. I jumped down and I landed and I washed. Went over the bars. But when I went over the bars, I tucked and rolled, but my head went like between my legs and I broke 3 vertebrae. Oh. But I had a concussion at the bike hit me too. Yeah, anyway, I ended up racing still. I was like, I ain't telling no one, I'm racing. I struggled. I really struggled. The first race, I dropped in the first corner, like battling for the whole shot. Second race, maybe like, because I think they were doing 2 back-to-backs and then a main.
Yes.
At that stage. And then the third race.
Was that like 2 short ones with like a 5-minute break or something in between? Yeah.
Yeah, struggled the first 2. Like, I was pretty sore. I couldn't move my body. Couldn't see straight. And then a whole shot, the last one, dude, and I'll just check out.
Yeah.
But then I couldn't see. Bumps are looking weird. Everything's starting to look a bit strange. I got second.
Yeah.
But like I was concussed and my neck was screwed.
Yeah.
So then I didn't ride for 5 weeks. Like I'm recovering, and we go straight to Murray Bridge. Qualify fastest by 2 seconds.
I was about to say, this is a track that you like. So
yeah, qualify fastest by 2. But I didn't know this track at this stage. The last time I rode there was the Junior Aussies, and I sucked.
Yeah.
So I was up for blood. I'm like, you know. So went over the bars and the rollers. Had an enduro tank on the bike. It was hard to ride.
Yeah.
But I needed it to last. Qualify fastest by 2 seconds. First moto, whole shot win. Gone. Second moto, whole shot, bike blew up. So F1 Motor time was helping. They put some stuffing in the cases. The stuffing come out, went through the motor. So it wasn't my dad's fault, wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
Just something. We're just looking for something. Didn't work. Sucked. It happened Third moto, I just remember Makem just coming in the first corner, just causing a crash. I got caught up in it. I was last. I got back to third. I think I got 5th for the day with a DNF.
That's not too bad, yeah.
That's where I started to do real good. And then we went to Horsham, and it was probably a stupid idea. But
how was your neck at this stage?
So Murray Bridge was fine.
Yeah.
It took me 5 weeks. I literally no bike time. Dad's like, how are we going to race? You haven't ridden your bike. Last time you rode it, you snapped yourself.
Yep.
Like, he's all stressed out. Like, we'll be sweet, bro. Like, I'm 17-year-old. I'm full of like cockiness. I'm like, I'm quietly cocky, but I'm like, dude, we're going for it.
Chill down, Dad.
I had full trust I had full confidence in myself. I'm like, dude, I could rock up, and we're going. And then we go to Horsham, and this is a good and bad mistake. It is what it is. Because the Junior Worlds, I was going to miss around the Nationals, so my championship was done. I also had that shit race at Wonthaggi, so my championship was pretty much toast. So I'm like, I'm just going to race MX2. This is what it is. Don't worry about the championship. I thought it would be better to get sponsors anyway.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so muddy. sticky mud helmets. Your helmet, like from the roost, like your goggles sit at the top. It was down at your nose.
Yeah.
But I got fourth in a race. Ford Dale won the championship that year, and me and him were battling the whole race. I'd done pretty good. Then we went and done the Junior Worlds, and then the championship was over. It was a good year, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was good. Like, I'd done a lot of winning. I pretty much, all the Vicks and stuff, I pretty much led wire to wire each race. Like, and at the time, I was racing Longy, but he was winning the national championship. He was like the red plate.
Yes.
So, like, he was fast. Just at the nationals, maybe I struggled to put together. Maybe it was a bit better with it. But, at the end of he was on a team, and it was funny as, man. The team owner at the time, like, I won't mention who it is, but I remember him coming up to me. He's like, I want you on the team. He's getting all fired up. He wanted me to come over. I was like, I'll come over, but he couldn't. And I was like, fuck. It was like that opportunity, I thought, maybe.
So why did you think at this stage, why do you think you hadn't had a team offer, or you didn't get a team offer here in Australia? Because you obviously had the potential and the speed.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, we never networked.
Yeah.
But we didn't know networking was a thing. We thought we keep our noses clean. We go win races, you get help. Not the case.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm not wired that way either. I hate asking for stuff, and I shouldn't, but I do. And I'm not going to get on my hands and knees and beg for it either. Like, I've got a lot of good people that help me, and I'm forever grateful that I've had good people, but I'm not one of those people that is going to I'm not going to, like, kiss your ass for something. Like, that's just not me. I feel like there needs to be, I can't do that. It needs to be a mutual relationship. Like, I like you and you like me, and we want to help each other, and that's how it works, So
after the Junior Worlds, you went back to Europe the following year as a senior? Yep.
So I was already senior in Australia, but was able to race Junior Worlds that year in 2012.
Because you're only 17.
Yeah. So then in 2013, we were trying to make plans to get back to Europe. Obviously, it's quite expensive. Back then, it wasn't probably as expensive as now, but it was way out of what we could afford. Like, my 85 had 150 hours on it when I won the Aussies.
Yeah, crazy.
Like stock clutch. It was slipping in the last race.
Yeah.
Like, we did bare minimum. We did what we could, and that was it.
So did you have support, or were you full privateer effort, or what was the deal?
It was a junior team, Yamaha team, but they only helped so much. They didn't pay for the fuel, or they didn't pay for accommodation or travel, or the time my dad took off work. Like, junior Aussie is a week.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, it's just, it is what it is. Sometimes some people have really good jobs or businesses, sometimes others don't, and they just deal with what they've got. So that digger team, there was a satellite team that was going to start up for 2013, and they recommended, so the digger team that helped Australia, they said to this team, they go, we've got a rider for you, let's organise it. So we started talking. It was going to be Solar Pro Racing and all that sort of stuff. That was the main sponsor. It was like in the pipe works, but it wasn't sure. Anyway, it started getting better. I was like, yeah, we're going to be going to Europe. And then that team ended up folding. And then Digger wasn't actually going to be a team that year. And they go, you know what, we'll start a team up. We'll get going. We'll make it happen. Unfortunately, like, my dad's mother passed away. And they, out of her will, they used all that money to send me to Europe. So, like, instead of paying off their house or going on a holiday or buying some nice shoes or whatever, they haven't done and still haven't done, I went to Europe. So they bought a truck. They set it all up. Like, I had a truck like to myself, man. Like the Honda truck that was at Wani on the weekend.
Yeah. Like
that, but 10 times better. So, yeah, I went there by myself. And at this stage, I was 17. I still didn't have a phone. Like, I didn't have a phone. I might have just made Instagram, but like no phone, no nothing. Parents had an iPad, and that was for music, and that was to like FaceTime or Skype back then, my parents. So then, dude, I'm in this country, flown by myself, can't understand a word. Haven't got a phone, haven't got Dirk, who is the team owner, don't have his number. I got his number, but I don't have a phone to call him.
Yeah.
I don't have any money on me. Like, So I jump on this train, ask a few questions. I'm sitting on this train for like 3 hours playing Subway Surfer. And then this guy says, like, this is your stop. Like, anyways, the last stop, jump off. And then I find like some lady. I say, hey, I got a number. Can I call it, please, off your phone? And he's waiting at the train stop. And that's how it all started. Jumped in the car with him. It was like old times because I've met him twice already.
Yeah.
And then it was good, man. Like my mechanic, Gino, he was Kevin Strybosch's mechanic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then when I left, he was Jaco Gertz's mechanic. Like very good at what he does. And our workshop was small, but it was backed onto Jaco Gertz's dad's workshop. And Jaco Gertz's dad is the one that built that 125 engine for me.
Yes.
Like that's who Dirk from Digger Racing used. Jaco was on 85 big wheel at the time. Fast ass.
Yeah.
And it was sick. Like, it was really good friendship. And that's where training for me, like when we were talking earlier, this is where off-bike training started for me.
It all came together. Yeah.
Because I was doing it already in Australia, but I was doing it because I had to. You know, I was doing CrossFit at the time, and he was real good, Greg, like family friend still to this day. But I struggled. Started getting leg pump, arm pump, like all the gripping and stuff. So I had to step away from that. But in Europe, they trained a lot different, but it suited me. So instead of doing, say, a CrossFit style training where you're lifting weights and you're breathing at the same time, like cardio / weights, whatever, I struggle with that big time because my legs, they blow out, my arms blow out, my muscles give way before my cardio does. So then I met this guy through them, he does all fitness training, and it was just I would run, or I'd cycle, or I'd do weight training, and it was all separate. So that's why I started to run. You know, I was cycling every morning and night if I wasn't riding. And then I was running. I started learning what weight training was. Like, he was a real fit dude, being in the bike scene. And then, like, we went on cycling. We'd do, like, some cycling. I really enjoyed it, man. Like, it was different there, too. The roads were quiet. Like, if you hit a cyclist over there, like, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
They own the roads, you know. Like, you give way to... But they're very... That's what I enjoyed so much about Europe. It was so just, like... Your days just felt relaxed. You know, here, it's like everyone's rushing. Everyone's got no patience. Like, there, I don't know, it's just... I enjoyed it. Like, we went to Zolder, like, it's a car circuit, and we cycled around that. And, yeah, that's where all that sort of, like, off-the-bike training started for me.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked it because I was riding good. Like, I was fast. I was real fast. Like, I got to Europe, I struggled at the start, big time. Crashed straight away. Yeah, that Lommel, lent it, buried my leg, went the other way, had a rope go on my neck, snapped the fence post, like, just, like, straight away, like, I'm like, I want to show these guys how fast I am. It's just way too hot, like, way too, like, yeah. Like, because that's the type of rider that I am. Like, if I'm, like, there because, like, you're my team owner or, like, you're my coach, I'm like, I've got to show this guy, like, what I can do. And, yeah. Way too hot straight away. Like, dude, I remember, like, it's the first day, get back, and I got my leg elevated, ice pack on, ankles bruised. I'm like, shit, this is not good. And they're like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm struggling to walk. I'm like hiding it. I'm like, you know, now I've got to start training. It's like, oh, dude, but yeah, it was good.
So where did your career in Europe go? Like, how long were you over there for, and what races did you do, and how did you go?
So my whole Europe trip was based on doing the EMX 250 class, but unfortunately back then it was one main event. Not much time to prove yourself. Practice qualifying, one main event.
Was it a qualifying race as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but it's not much time. And it sucked because like, obviously more time for me on unfamiliar tracks would have been better. But, like, I just didn't have as much time as I could have to maybe prove things, you know? Like, I always felt like it was just this or it was just that because it was only a 5 or 6 round series, but I was injured for, like, a round or two.
Yeah.
So, first round, done terrible. Like, shit.
Where was that?
Portugal. Didn't qualify. Yeah. Hurt my shoulder. Rode good, just crashed and just froze up. Like, I was so focused on what the outcome was going to be, like your thing on the wall. Like, I was so focused on just, like, winning. Like, I was like, I'm here to do a job. And then, terrible. You know,
I had Liam Owens on the podcast. He's over racing EMX at the moment, and he was telling me when he first went over the first year, he raced Portugal and Spain, and he said in Portugal, like that was the first race he did, the speed of the tracks over there. He said it's like Australia, but everything's faster, like everything's more open, and that was for him like a really big steep learning curve to get used to. How was it for you? Like, how did you find the tracks? Was it similar to what you've been racing over here, or was there a learning curve?
I really enjoy them type of tracks.
Yeah.
I hate Australian tracks, straight up. These tracks, to me, they're just kid tracks.
Yeah.
Suited to 450s. Or it's just come in, slow right down, point, shoot, go again, slow right down. To me, I like going fast on a rough track. So it's like, do you have the courage to stay on it?
Yes.
I hate slow tracks.
That's like 90s motocross.
Yeah.
I grew up watching like Dave Thorpe and, racing the 500s in the in the World Championship. And like those tracks were different. They were a lot different to what we race over here for sure.
And I don't mean fast tracks by like ski jumps and like rough, rutted, big jumps, up and down hills, whatever it is, but moving. Like you've got to brake.
Yeah.
And you've got to have it like on. That's the type of tracks that's why I've been enjoying Hastings lately. Like there's like a few ski jumps there, like, you hit them top gear, pinned, and you're leaning braking bumps. I love that. Like it's like not many people are going to do that. But yeah, getting back to Europe, I really enjoyed their tracks. I didn't find that they were fast. So yeah, where we were was I didn't do too good at Portugal, and I was pissed. Like it was. We drove there and back. My mechanic wasn't real happy about it, Cheetah. He's like, you shouldn't have been in the car for 20 hours. That was their number one mistake. And I remember they were like, yeah, it'd be good if you can qualify the next one. Because like, I was racing good riders. I was Siwa, Geyser, like everyone now that's doing good, I was racing them.
Yeah.
Like Guillard won it. Valentin Guillard was winning it. The one at the year I was there. Geyser was the man, but he had bike issues. He ended up jumping up to MX2. Like, dude, I was racing world-class riders. It's pretty nice to look back on, and also disheartening. I'm like, was
that around the same time Carafa was over there as well?
No, it was, I don't know actually, sorry, but Ferris.
Yep.
It was when Ferris was like on Dixon Yamaha, and so was Zach Osborne.
Oh, wow, yep.
And that's the year Luke Stike, he won in Australia, because I actually seen him over in Europe in that 5-week break in the nationals here. He was over there with Ferris. So then we go to France, Ernay. I'm still fuming from Portugal, like, dude, like it's pissed me off. And then I just remember they're like, yeah, it'd be good if you can get like top 20 or something. Top 20, like,
it's almost insulting.
Dude, I was like, but they set to them realistic goals, but I knew what I could do. I think I got 12th. Still not where I should have been. Starts are off. Track was gnarly. Like the hills jumping down the steepness, that's what scared me the most. Like you look at these jumps and you go abrupt, but you jump far.
Yeah.
Like I landed way too deep a few times. Like that's what threw me off, those steep hills. And then, so things start to go good, and then we go to Latvia, and then I'm like, really good. Like, fitness is good, pumping motos out. Like, I passed Stefan Everts at a track, Honda Park. I'll never forget that. I passed him. I'm like, dude. And then he passed me back at Lommel, like I was standing still.
Yeah.
But like I remember I was racing like Ruke and Salvis and stuff. They were at Lommel, and I was like, they were like top 10 guys at the time, top 15. And I was pretty good. Like Lommel took me a long time to learn. Like you had ski jumps that were taller than your ceiling, man. You're like falling out of the sky into like beach sand, feet getting ripped off, like long runs up the ramps. But you're hitting these wedged in fourth gear, like fast.
Yeah, full commitment.
Yep, full commitment. And that took me a lot to learn. So we go to Latvia, and it was very much like Murray Bridge. The soil, softer, deeper, but that real
thick loam.
Yeah, that orange. And straight away, I was just like frothing. I'm like, this is sick. No, or did I go to Sweden first? I can't remember now. No, sorry, I went to Sweden first. Another shit race.
So
Yeah.
after your 12th,
Yeah, so I went to Sweden, and qualifying race. No, in qualifying, I crashed, and so like the time qualifying, the track was backwards back then, and you turned right and dropped down, and I washed. It was raining, but the bike tumbled, broke levers off, bent subframe, bent bars, like second lap in, no change in nothing.
yeah.
So I rode the whole qualifying. I've actually got a photo of it on my Instagram. Bike's all twisted up. I get to like the last chance time qualifying, get into the main event, and doing okay. But my chain come off
Oh, jeez.
in the exact same spot Corolla's come off in his race. It was some rolls up a hill or just before me. It was a left, shallow rut. I'm talking like not even a rut. Chain come off. I've never had happen to my life. Just weird things happen. Pissed off again. We go to Latvia, and then so it was a real cool trip. Latvia. I remember we watched a movie called Braveheart,
Oh, I love Braveheart. Yep.
and it was Gino's favorite movie. You know, he used to always say, "This one's for my wife." You know, and we watched that, and that got me fired up. I'm like, you know, and then I got to the track. I was walking. It was mint weather. You know, I was cycling, and weather was mint, and you know, like I remember it was like yesterday. Had a sand tire. I'm like, this is sick. Like, you know, I felt real confident in soft ground because I did a lot of time in Belgium and Holland and stuff. So then I don't know what I qualified in time, but I think I got fourth in my qualifying race, which was good. And I was pretty quick. In my qualifying race, I was quicker than Ferris. And then I got eighth in the main event. Could have, should have, would have, but it was a lot better. Like,
Than what you've been doing.
I actually watched it last year on MXGP. It was cool. Like,
Yeah.
but it was good. It was either eighth or sixth, but it was good. I wasn't far off. Like, I was right there. Like, they were just, you know. But it was a real good race. Everyone was pumped. Like, it was sick. And then we went to Estonia, so Latvia to Estonia to do some training, and that's when I ended up getting some hardware in my shoulder. So there was a rider that was like top 9 in MX1, and we're training, and I was like a few seconds quicker than him, a lap.
Yeah.
And like this was where I got to my peak, probably the best I've ever been in my life. And we were talking about it was just so easy. I was turning off hard pack. I was just everything was just
in the flow.
And there was this double section, and I was done for the day. I said, I'm done. Packing up. I've done like 3 30-minute motos. I'm like, I'm good. And then Dirk goes, just do one more. And I was like, all right, do one more. And then doing good. And then that double was a hole in it. And I literally just, maybe I was too much in the zone, and I just missed the smallest detail. And I clipped the hole. And it just like shocked my feet. And I fell over the front of the bike. And after the last double out, it goes downhill. I went over the bars, broke my collarbone. And at this stage in my career, I'd never broken a collarbone, like, you know, and straight away, man, like, I was angry. Because I knew I lost.
The opportunity.
Yeah. I knew, like, straight away, I was just like, I was so bummed, dude. I was sitting there at the bottom of this hill. Like, I was real angry. Picked the bike up, rode back, collarbone snapped in 2 spots, put the bike on the stand, got myself undressed. I said, we need to go to a doctor. And I was super pissed. And then we had to, because we had the truck and everything there. And then I had to, it was still daytime at like midnight. FaceTime my parents, Skyped, told them. Had to fly back to Belgium. And we had the Finland MXGP coming up that weekend. And that's the biggest one I was looking forward to because it was very similar to where I've been training. Black sand, fast. Like I was
ready.
Yeah, more than ready. I felt like I was going to come out and be like the guy, like one of the guys. You know, if I pulled a whole shot, like we're going to battle.
Yeah.
Big time. And you got to remember, my bike was a KTM with pump fuel with a Get Ignition HGS. basic. It went really well for what it was. But I was racing like Zaragoza, who was factory Suzuki. Like I was racing against Siwa, like they were on like factory gig bikes. And I was more than happy with what I had. Fastest bike I've ever ridden. Like the way it revved and everything was just sick.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a factory bike. Not even close. Stock cams and everything.
What about suspension?
Suspension was just, back then, KTM didn't have air or 4CS. It was conventional.
Yeah.
But it was a brand called VRS, just a guy at his garage that they knew. Done good suspension. But again, I didn't know what good suspension was. I had stock bikes my whole career until I was a senior. No suspension.
Yeah.
Dad just slipped springs in to suit my weight. That was it. No
Dialed.
valving. Dude, no clickers.
Yeah.
Like, we knew nothing. We just got on the bikes and rode them. And the guy goes, you want a soft bike? Go sit on the couch. I'm like, yeah, that's my type of guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was spewing. I missed out on Finland. I watched the race. I was sitting there on the couch. I'll never forget it, man. I couldn't even watch it. I watched some of it. I just walked off. I was shattered. And then I was meant to be...
When you saw the track on TV, was it like what you were expecting? Was that what?
Yeah,
what
I'd been
made
studying it.
Yeah.
I'd studied it. I'd watched it, studied it.
So the conditions were like what you would have thrived in.
Yeah. Just hanging it out off the back of the bike, sort of riding on that limit of like do or die. Just that type of track. That's what it seemed to me, like just going for it. And I was going to be in a motorbike movie, Living for the Weekend. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks into my healing, went to the track. They're like, okay, we need you like to do like.
Did you get hardware straight away?
Yeah. Oh, so I had to fly back to Belgium, and it was like 2 or 3 days. It was this one here. Real good job, but super neat. Caroli's surgeon done it. Another starstruck moment. I'm like, that's sick. I'm like, that's sick. But I remember like I felt good. And Andy Trutz, who is a good, really good rider, he's actually married to a female that raced from America and the world. They were going to use him as the stunt double on my bike, which they ended up doing in my gear, and I was pissed. Like, dude, I'm watching some guy take my spot, my glory. I'm like, because remember, I've watched all these movies. I've watched like Pastrana, Terra Firma, and I'm like finally like racing. I'm like pumped up.
Living the dream, really.
I am living the dream. Like, I loved it, man. And I put my gear on for photos and all that, and I did a practice start. Because they're like, just do a few starts just like for the thing, but don't ride. And I remember, I'll never forget to this day, man, like I was like crying. I was that angry. I was so angry. I was just like, I didn't care about the consequence. I stopped myself, but I was going to just take off.
Yeah.
Like, my mechanic got me off the bike, turned the bike off. He said, we need to go. Like, I was so angry that.
So what bit did you do?
I just sat on the bike and I did start from me to you.
Yeah.
And the start was mint. Didn't mono. It was perfect. Revs didn't bog. And I was just going to keep going.
Yeah.
The track I never ridden. Hurlings used to train there a fair bit. And, I was angry.
And then he took over.
Yeah. I left. I haven't even watched the movie.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, dude. And I knew I would have been okay as well. Like, played in the collarbone.
So who made the call that you couldn't?
The owner of the team. He made the call. I mean, it's probably the right call, but it's still the wrong call in my eyes.
Yeah. So did you have more races lined up at that stage?
I had 2 more.
And that's what he was trying to save you for. Yeah.
But nothing like went right for me. Like, everything sort of had its kink, you know. So we went to England, and you know Maley Basson?
Yes, of course.
So do you remember the crash from Ferris on that massive jump down the hill?
Yes, yep.
So that jump was unjumped in EMX 250. No one jumped it yet. And Megan Rutledge was actually there racing too. Big jumps, man. I got there and I was like, dude. And I knew a Spanish rider at the time, Boutron. And
Jose, yeah.
Yeah. And I said to him, I go, like, what do I need to do this jump? He goes, 4th, pin. Because you couldn't see anything. It was flat and then landing.
Yeah, straight off, yeah.
And I said to him, they're like, don't do it. because they know the type of person I am. Like if I've got something in my head, I'm going to do it, which called me a lot, got me undone a lot. And then, we go out for practice and the team owner walks down there to the landing. He's waiting for me to kill myself. I sent it. Second lap. Rolled it once, sent it. Every single lap I was jumping it. And I felt good again. Like I actually felt pretty good.
Were you landing in ruts down there?
No.
No.
It was a hard landing.
Yeah.
And dude, it felt like you were falling from the sky. Like I was hitting this ski jump ramp, pinned, man. I'm like, but even after the finish line, there was like the finish line, and there was like, the Supercross they have like a small, a big, and a small, and they can kind of like wheel tap or jump over. But it was motocross size. It was big, but there was a single after it, and we could quad it. But only a few of us were doing it. It was sick. Yeah, again, decent start, and then I got jumped on, and then it ripped a bolt out of my rear disc, and when it bent the disc so much, it cooked the fluid in my caliper, so I had no rear brake. Hilly track.
Yeah.
I still jumped the jump, but I had no rear brakes. Struggled. Raced the whole race as hard as I could, but again, one moto. I didn't have that chance to back anything up. I didn't have that.
Show that was an anomaly and that you can do better.
Yeah, so all everyone's seen was my result on paper. They didn't see that I got jumped on and my back brake, my disc was bent up and jacked up, and I had no brakes the whole race from the first lap. So I'd done the whole, that might have been maybe back then it might have been 25 plus 2 or something like that. Whole race, no rear brakes on a hilly track. I struggled, but most people would pull in.
Yeah.
Because it's from the first lap. And it wasn't even for, like I was doing for a championship. I was way out of the championship. I already missed a round. Didn't qualify in the others, But the problem was, when I crashed, the bike was sideways, upside down. And they used to drill a hole in the case behind the crank to release engine brake. I didn't even know where engine brake was. I didn't care. But they just did it anyway. That's just their thing that they done. The problem was, one way or another, the bike's on its side running. All the oil goes to one side because of that hole. So it starves the bearing. I didn't know this until, which we're going to go on to the next round. The bike was on its side, and because the hole in the back of the engine, all the oil went through there and starved the bearing. But we had no idea. Bike ran good.
So you hadn't rebuilt it or taken it apart in between rounds?
My mechanic wanted to.
Yeah.
Gina was like, we need to, because we're going to Leerop. Leerop's heavy. Did you see the videos from the...
No.
Did you not see the videos maybe 2 weeks ago of Roman Fevre in that deep whoop section and him and his teammate crash?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's Leerop.
Yep.
That's where my final race was. And, man, he lapped the whole field, most of them twice. Just stupid fast. What happened was it rained, belted down. And this is a deep sand track, and there's a foot of water on the whole track. I'm like, they're cancelling it. I was wrapped. I was so happy.
Because you don't want to go out in that?
Nah. I'm like, they're cancelling it. Sweet. I didn't get to ride in it. I don't want to ride in it. They didn't cancel it. So then I went from being we're not riding to time to race sort of mode. And, dude, the ruts. Oh, my God. The ski jumps. There was holes, so you could imagine, like, you come to the bottom of a ski jump and you gas it. But because it was so wet, the holes were scalloping out like this. And they're deeper and deeper. You'd ride into it. If you rode into it, you were crashing.
Yeah.
So there'd be like a massive pile of sand. Then at the bottom of the ski jump, it would dip down. And then the top of the ski jump was flat because the good riders, what we were able to do was hit this jump to the top of the ski jump and bounce off it. But to do that, you're in ruts at a foot peak deep, and all the way up to these jumps is gnarly. It's sort of just send it. My bike was playing up straight away. I don't know why. It had like an electrical fault somehow. And it cut out. I was last. And then in 3 laps, I got back to 16th. I passed C. I'll never forget passing C. And bike blew up. Bottom end. And my mechanic was fuming. He goes, for what it was worth, you should have done it.
So who made the call not to rebuild the bike?
Owner.
Yeah. Just from a cost perspective? Or?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It wouldn't have cost that much, like a couple bearings. Not when you're KTM.
Yeah.
You know, in Europe it's a lot different to here. Like you get help, you actually get help. You know, back then anyway. But yeah, bike stopped. I'll never forget it, man. I was riding it. It was a hard race on the bike, but I was only 3 laps in. And yeah, it didn't last 3 laps. And I remember pushing it back, and I was just like, I didn't think about it much then. I was just angry again. But
are you a clutchy rider? Like, do you think that would have
No.
made a difference? No.
no, I'm not a clutchy rider. Like, yes, sometimes, but back then, less than. I don't even do it much now, but it would have been less than. Maybe over revved it here and there. A little bit like happy on the limiter. You know, I'm like young teenager fired up. Like sometimes you get a bit happy on it, but I was pretty good because I had to be growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't like, dude, if I rev my bike too hard, I'd know about it. My old man would say, hey, like, that's stupid. Like, you're not going any faster. You're just killing your bike.
Yep.
We had to ride efficiently, you know. But yeah, that was how it ended. And it was like I never had.
You never got to that point where you were happy with what you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was real happy where I was at, and I was real happy with life and living the dream. But I was so disappointed, like that I never could put it together, or the cars didn't fall right. And like I said, my parents, the money that they spent on me to do it, you know, that was hard. And then I couldn't go back. That was the worst bit. Like
You couldn't make it right.
I couldn't. Like in Europe, you need more than 1 year. Like anything, you can't just go there and do 1 year. Like I adapted really easy to the style of living. For me, like that felt like home. I came back to Australia, went to Colac, and I just looked at the riders. I looked at everything. I thought, this is just a joke. I think the day I came back was a day I lost a lot of heart in Australia. You know, I still love the sport and stuff, but I don't know. It's like one day I had Harry Everts come up to me, tap your stopwatch, and go, like, that was a good skippy. You know, I had like Ken the Dyke as a friend, and you have all these top guys that are just like people you watch on MXGP as a kid, like come up to you and tell you you're doing good, have a chat to you. And then here you have a C grader that wants to bloody rub elbows with you. You know, like big difference.
Yeah.
You know, and
Is that still now where you feel you should be and where you want to be?
Yeah. I want to try to get to America 1 year. That was originally my dream because MXGP, I didn't even know it existed. I just knew AMA did because of bar to bar and Foxtail and all that sort of stuff. So America was always the dream. That was like the big dream.
Yeah.
But then when I understood Europe and stuff like that, I fell in love with Europe because of, I mean, I'm European background, but I never had much thought about it, but that suited me, that lifestyle. You know, just like short black coffees, pasta, all the good stuff, you know, like. But yeah, Europe is, like I said, man, I'd get on a plane like tomorrow. I would drop my puppy off. I'll drop my wife and my puppy off to my parents. I'd go Jess and I'd say, we're going.
Yeah.
I'd drop everything. I'd sell my car, man. I would drop everything to go to Europe. I actually wanted to...
For the listeners, we were just talking about Joel's car. He's not talking about his everyday driver. He's talking about his pride and joy, a VL Commodore. So we'll get onto that a little bit later.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'd drop everything to do it. I wanted to actually do the EMX 250 or the EMX 300 two-stroke class. And COVID happened. But my plan was to build a bike here and then ship over my, say, engine and stuff. And I'm still thinking about this for America, you know, like two-stroke cup and stuff. I'm thinking, like, if I could get, like, an engine and suspension over there and find a bike that's blown up real cheap, maybe I could put all my stuff into a blown-up bike.
Make it happen.
And make it happen. Like, I've tried and I've pondered and I've sat there thinking and, yeah. But like, I got to meet my mechanic again, so 2013. And then in 2018, I had a wild card to race MXGP at Indonesia. Really struggled. Shouldn't have went. Like, wasn't in the racing mindset. I was partying, drinking, just trying to deal with not racing anymore. That was hard. But I got to see him, and it was like he was my second father, like, to me. So it was good seeing him.
So after Europe, when you came back to Australia, what happened with your racing? Like, did you continue racing at that stage, and did you have success, or was it sort of on and off? What happened with your career in Australia after you came back from Europe?
So I was meant to ride for KTM Australia. So back then it was like KTM Australia would give you like a few bikes and stuff and help you out. Like it was KTM Australia.
So what year was this?
2014 was the year. So I came back in 2013, and 2014 is back in Australia racing. They were going to help me, and then they didn't help me in the end. And this is probably one of the worst choices we made. But we didn't have... Looking back, we could have made better choices, but at the time, we couldn't afford it. Again, like, it was always, we didn't go out looking for sponsors. Like, we didn't know how to approach people. Like, we didn't have managers or, like, we didn't know people in the sport, like, say, that were already pro riders. Like, hey, this is my contact. Like, we didn't know how to get sponsors. We knew nothing. So anyway, I signed with TM. And, that was shocking. That was... Still, I was fit. I was riding good, but the bikes are buckets. Like I was breaking frames, breaking swing arms, breaking everything.
Were they just like glorified bush bikes on a track? Is that...
Like, if you were a so-and-so rider, it was okay.
Yeah.
But...
not for the elite level.
Well, the piston, when it come down to bottom of the stroke, it shut off all fuel intake. Like... They didn't have bottom end, the frames and stuff, the handling, the short wheelbase. I struggled. I had a pretty big crash. Not really, actually. Sorry, I had a little crash at Broadford Nationals. Knocked myself silly. Just hit the side of my head. But I was wearing bell helmets at the time, and yeah, I reckon that had a lot to do with it. I'm not a fan of carbon fiber helmets. I never will be. I think they're too stiff. And I hit the side of my head, bro. And to this day, I don't even, like, I was that out of it. I still finished the race. It's on YouTube. It's embarrassing. And then, yeah, we fighted. Like, we kept fighting through the championship, trying, man. Like, trying everything we could.
Is this the Pro MX?
Yeah.
Or the Nationals at that stage?
Yeah, but the results were all over the place, man. Like, bikes stopping, this, that. Like, it was no good. Like, we're fighting an uphill battle. And then we went to WA. Like, this is an example. I don't know how to result yet. Went to WA, practice bike, snapped the gearbox input shaft. Like the main one in the gearbox, snapped it in half. Practice bike's out. Gone. Race bike blows up straight away. And all this stuff is not due to jetting.
Yeah.
This is just the bikes. So I forget his name. This guy comes up to me and goes, "He borrowed my KTM." This is like a national Wanneroo.
Yep.
He goes, "Borrow my KTM." And at the time, I think he was a WA champ. Soft as Kato. Like, but as soon as I got my hands on the KTM, I was like,
back at home?
Yes. I was like, let's go. Like, I was pumped. I was like, let's go. Because I had KTM two strokes in my first year seniors in Australia.
Yeah.
In 2012. So then I ended up finishing 4th or 5th. Like, past Clout like he was standing still. And this bike ran like dog shit, and he was 50 kilos wringing wet.
Yeah.
Like, not even set up or anything. And then the guys that helped me full force racing up in Queensland, they had a TM 300. James did. So he ended up giving me that bike to race in MX1. And I did pretty good. Like, I was running like top 10s. Bike still wasn't great, but it was a lot better than 250.
Is that a 300 two-stroke?
Yep, TM. A lot better. I think I got 9th at Swan Hill. Could have done better, but riders like to cut the track. So that made it hard. But I still struggled. Just whatever. And then that year passed, and then I ended up getting my own 252 stroke, Kato. Second-hand bike. It was good. It was a good bike. Good suspension, fast, basic motor, just a head, exhaust, adjusted power valve, jetting. Really good bike. And had a big crash at Park 4. The track used to go backwards, the other way. And you know the back where you drop down?
Yep.
It went the other way, but it was a big step up. And I got a flat tyre. But, like, the tyre wasn't flat at the bottom. but the tyre was flat half up the ramp, and the bike kicked out, and it just, I don't remember any of it. It threw me, and I was just running through the air like a bad dream. But it was real life.
Did you see Sam Larson's crash in Indo?
Nah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to him.
Yes, so similar, but bigger jump.
Yeah.
Up high, real high. Because when it flicked me, it didn't flick me forwards, it flicked me up.
Yep.
And I've jumped this step up, it's like 20-something meters long. And the guy behind me told me the story. And I've landed, like it spun me around, and I've landed and it's gone bang, smashed the back of my head. Broke the helmet off, like.
Oh, wow.
Didn't break my legs. No injuries like that. Punctured my lung through my back and stuff like that. Was in shock, pretty bad. Couldn't like get any drips in or anything like that. But that was a bad head hit, dude. That was bad. Like, so I had 25 weeks off the bike. Like, couldn't look at lights. I still struggle. Can't drive at night. And yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And actually rewinding, when I was on that TM, I actually had a lot of head injuries that year. Probably had about 12.
Yeah.
12 decent head hits, but they were small. But in that helmet, man,
Yep.
just every time I hit the ground, I was out.
And it's definitely cumulative. So once you've already had a head hit and then you have another one, it just seems to compound.
And I don't know why, and my dad says it, but I was prone to hitting my head.
Yeah.
You know, it's if I could take it all back and like break a bone for every time I hit my head, I'd do it. It'd be like 30 plus breaks, but I'd be happy to do it because it affects me day to day, 100%. So in 2015, I have that crash, and then I'm still real keen to race. Like I'm still think that I can do pretty good in the nationals, and I'm still thinking going back to Europe, like. And I race a Vix. Jed Beaton is he's like the new guy.
Yep. So it's before he goes to Europe.
Yep, he's fast, like, no doubt about it. He was winning. He beat me. I didn't ride for 25 weeks. I rocked up to a Vix, got second to him, and then I struggled mentally, like I think just emotions from the head hit a lot. And then my sister Emma, she had a pretty bad crash, broke her back, and there was a lot of drama around that. That was hard. Emma had a lot of injuries, man, like big injuries. Like any human that had her injuries would have given up.
Yeah.
You know, with wrists and arms, and her femur when she was just a kid, like her femur got destroyed, dude. People don't understand. Like she was A grade, small wheel, at like 10 years old, beating all the A graders, like peak.
Yeah.
Like if she was completely different rider to now. Like if it was young Emma these days, she'd be my speed.
Yeah.
Like she was an animal, but she had 2 years off, dude. Her legs snapped up, spiraled, like gone. 2 years. Ridiculous. You know, so she had her back injury and she had a couple of rods put in, and it was hard. Like I really felt for her, man. And it's like she never caught a break, you know, and there was a lot of drama around that. And that sort of was a cherry on top for me that year. I had another big head injury. I went to a nationals and I got probably 20 metres out of the gate, got cut off. Like we just all come together. Like it was unnecessary, but it happened. And I went over the bars, woke up on a stretcher, like another big head injury. And every time I tried to come back, I got hurt.
Yeah.
Every single time. And it wasn't like one thuggy the other week where it was just like pouring concrete and going. I was fit.
Yeah.
I was putting in the work. Like I was ready to go. It wasn't just rocking up. And I started working in 2016, and this thing started to change, man. Like it was hard. Shit went downhill real quick.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't deal. You know, I think I had a lot of issues with hitting my head so much. My mood's like not like angry, just
Quick to anger, yep.
Nah, not even like
yeah?
nah, just depression. Like I think back, and still to this day now, like you go from such highs of racing to such lows, and yeah, it still kills me, you know.
But that's definitely like a symptom of concussion, is that emotional regulation as well.
Yeah. And like, you know, just the simple things of like my memory, you know, I see stars a lot, you know, just I get like these weird things like that just happen. I just know it's from my head. Like I'm real tired all the time. You know, like the doctors told me, you know, like all this just because like every day at 12, 11 o'clock, I just hit a wall, man. And like, it's just your brain's like never recovered, you know, and it's hard. Like that's where I made dumb mistakes, man. Like I was so into racing that I didn't have friends, eh? I didn't hang out with anyone. I was just raced.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of friends at the time, but they drank, they partied, and I have a very bad habit of when I do something, I do it 100%. It's all or nothing, you know. And you know, so we drank, we had fun. I didn't have a phone till I was 19 or 18 or whatever it was, you know. And racing wasn't really happening anymore for me, you know. And I was just like, whatever, this is fun. There's chicks with my mates, having a blast, you know. Went out with $50 in my pocket, come home with $40 in my pocket, you know, like a couple of drinks, and you know, I'd wake up dancing all night. I'd wake up, you know, and I felt fine. You know, I'd go out and pump out 2 30-minute motos, but you know, the damage was done. Like I'd started.
So you're still riding through those times as well.
Yeah, but I don't even know what I was thinking, man. I don't know. I wasn't. I was just on a massive roller coaster of just like, to me, haven't achieved what I wanted to. That dream of like, tell my parents, well, you know, got to pay your house off one day and all that.
Pay back everything that they've done.
Yeah,
for
like,
you.
yeah. And I felt it, man, like just slipping from my hands. Like it was gone. Like I could feel it, like I was holding on, but it was pulling harder than I could hold, you know. And don't know, I stuffed up, you know, went out and drank every now and then, and probably just, no respect for myself, I guess, just lost it all. And I was like, all right, we'll start racing again. And when was it? It was, I can't remember, man. Every time I came back, I got injured. It was every year in a row in April, 4 years in a row, 3 years. And then so 16, I was on a KTM 450, struggled, shock and forks, 4CS, couldn't ride the bike. It was good on Ride Park. Go everyone else, it was just shit. But I did no good. And then 2017, I think I actually went and raced. I got to ride a KSF on a Husky. Dude, straight off the couch.
Yep.
Went to Toowoomba, done shit.
Yeah.
Then I went to Coolum, I finished 9th. 450s.
Yeah.
On a bike that wasn't set up for me. Like it had mint suspension, it had cone valves. Like for me, the cone valve had 52s. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah, of course.
Cornered really nice, but wasn't set up for me. But it was good. Made it work. Got 9th or 10th or something like that.
Do you put that back to your experience in Europe riding the sand?
Yeah. At the time, it was still fresh to me because I was still riding.
Yeah.
I was still fit. I was still doing it a lot at the time. You know, it was still fresh on me in my memory and like muscle memory. Like everything was still there. And then I can't remember what year it was. I went to Indo. Might have been 18. I won that championship there, Indo championship. And then I had a Yami 450 and went to Mafra. I just got a Yami 450, done the open race in 18. Beat Mosick. And he was DPH or CDR at the time.
Yep.
Maybe DPH. Beat Mosick straight up. And I was good. I was back in shape. And then I copped a rock to my eyebrow, split on my eyes thing open. That was that done. And then out of nowhere, I like slipped a disc in my back at work singing a dozer. Yeah. One thing after the other.
Yeah.
And then,
even if it's not on the bike.
yeah. And then I was like, oh, that's sweet. And then I went to Monthaggi Nationals. I still felt like I had a good chance, man, like to do well. And I had this weird bike issue. My stator was playing up, but no one had known of it. Like, bike would run perfect. You'd take off, it would start to sputter. Like, even CDR were like, what's going on with your bike? Like, we need to know, like. So, didn't even race. Couldn't get the bike sorted. Trying ass off, changing everything I could to my mate's bike. And then...
That's probably not something you just suspected, you know?
Nah, took my dad like 3 days at home, head off, like a stator. The bike had only done like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you know, anyway, it happened. But again, we didn't have a spare bike. Like, I had my mate's bike there at the time, but like, I didn't have my own bike. You know, it's different. Didn't have parts. Like, it was just, had my bike with an aquapovic on it. No plastics, no spare plastics, just like. And then 19, I think it was before everything went pear-shaped. I think the two-stroke cup became a thing with the nationals. Then so Kevin Williams made a two-stroke series. Straight off the couch, like I was dog shit. Now I was put weight on. Yeah, I was no good. I was drinking beer, eating kebabs and KFC. Like, I was no good, dude. It's a joke. Fucking Dare Ice coffees, Hershey ice cream, you name it, man. Like, it was going in.
Yeah, diet of a champion.
Dude, I was just fed up. I'm like, this is just shit. And then, you know, like, dude, it's nothing to be proud of. Like, I'd ride good, I'd go have a beer because I rode good. Rode shit, I'd go have a beer because I rode shit. Like, you know, and then I won at Traralgon. I rode good.
Yeah.
And then I was training for round 2 and crashed, broke my collarbone. A back and smash. Just done a scrub like I did every other lap.
Same collarbone?
Other one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that plate's terrible the way they've done it. But yeah, I woke up. Emma was just behind me. I'll never forget it. We're training. I scrubbed. I went to scrub. My foot slipped. I hit the rear brake. And it stalled the bike momentarily, but nosedived.
Yeah.
But because I hit the rear brake, it slowed me down, so I come up short. And I clipped the top of the landing. Have you ever been to Back and Splash?
Yeah.
So you know that tabletop going out to the back track, full of rollers? That
Yes.
tabletop. Used to be taller. Clipped the landing and bounced all the way down, landed on my collarbone. Bang. Coughing up blood. I hear Emma coming. I quickly grab my bike. I drag it off and I just fall to the ground. I'm like, fuck. You know, ring the boss at the time. He's having a go on me because I can't go to work the next day. Laying there in the ambulance just thinking, dude.
It's happened again.
It's happened again. Just pissed off. And then I think I went to Coolum for another round of the series. It was like the third round.
On the two-stroke again.
Yeah. But, man, I was riding a stock YZ and the jetting was way too rich. But Dad was a bit nervous about going leaner. But the thing, because you're near the beach, but the thing is, your altitude, like, changes to jetting, but so does, like, the air density, like, moisture content, weather, humidity, all that. But he was a bit nervous because he had issues with one of Emma's two-strokes there years earlier. And, dude, I'll never forget. I think his name's, like, Jai Walker. And I have a whole shot of them, and I'm off the back of this YZ, man, like, flapping off it. And this dude just will drive right down a straight, rides straight past me. Like, bike lengths, pulls bike lengths on me, and I'm riding this bike, dude. I'm tripling into this roller section, like I'm doing everything, and dude, I just remember just the struggle, man, and that sucked too. I had a lot of shit times. I had a lot of good times, but it's just the older I got, the harder it got.
Yeah,
and it just led to a lot of letdowns.
And at this stage, did you still feel like it was slipping away, or was that already something that it was done and dusted?
It's still to this day feels like I could still do something. It was slipping, but I was like, I could do something, but I just didn't. I don't know, man. Like, I needed life or something just to punch me in the face. Like, I needed something, but, you know, I was working every day. I was in a dozer. I was pushing dirt 5 days a week. Jess and I, we had our rental. You know, we rented. So, you know, life's not that cheap. That was the turning point where I was like, we're going to get fit. We're on. We are on COVID.
Oh, yeah.
But that's when my arm stuffed up. I was at Thomas Alexander's joint, training, been there, and then went back and got an arm pump. I don't know what's going on with his arms. Like,
Never had arm pump before you?
No, I've had arm pump, but it was always manageable.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I could get through it pretty easy. Like, you know, you just just breathe, just relax, or just back off, or readjust, or whatever it is. And I remember we had the Rosebud Vics coming up, and I was going to race on the 500. I knew I wasn't, at the time, I wasn't too worried about being competitive. Like, I had a plan in my head. I was planning to get fit here and race here to go and do EMX 300 in Europe.
Yes.
So my whole plan was do everything here on my 250, get fit, do races, piss off over there. Like, because in my mind, if I'm going to waste 50 grand here, I'll spend it over there. So arms started playing up, and then COVID, all that stuff.
Were you still riding through COVID? I know a lot of people got exemptions and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like the Robin Hood. I was lucky enough my parents were, not metro.
Yep.
So it was like, it affected me, but it didn't affect me. I quit my job at the time as well, at the dozer joint. I quit that, and I'm like, I'm going racing. It was full time. I made the switch to go coaching and to race like full time. And it was good. I was in shape, probably the lightest I was in years. Pretty fit. And then that happened, and from there the rest is history, man. Like, everyone was in the same boat. We just had enough just to stay afloat.
Yeah.
We could ride here and there, but
there was no racing.
Yeah. The whole world shut down. So it's like a blur the last 4 years. I had my arms issue, and then
yeah. So when we did that coaching day at Blue Rock, afterwards we spoke a fair bit about your arm. So I wanted to explore that a little bit more. So because that was a really interesting story in itself. So I think you said you first had the real issue when you were racing. Was it at Warrnambool or something like that?
Oh, yes. So I was training up in Portland, and I went to a race in Warrnambool to help some kids I was coaching. So at the time, I'd quit my job, and I wanted to go full time. So I rode a sand track on a Thursday and a Friday. I felt good. Like, I still look at the videos today, and I go, oh, it looked all right. And then I went to I think it was a Junior Vics at Warrnambool, and I was helping a kid called Jacob. It was a Saturday and Sunday, and then I was going to go home, but then I thought, I'm up here, I've got nothing to do. I might as well. I rang up my best mate Steve. I go, bro, I'm coming back to yours tonight. We're going to the track Monday. He's like, sweet dude. So I'm like, why not? And then went to the track, and I was actually riding the 500 because I didn't want to kill the 250 anymore. Deep sand track. I was like, let's go. I just want to burn laps. And dude, arm pump straight away. And I'm like, how? I'd done those 2 days, man. I was pumping out 30-minute motos. But I got this arm pump, man. Like, I didn't have any arm pump on Thursday or Friday. The whole weekend I was hydrated because I was on my game here. I wasn't drinking turkeys and eating shit. I was trying to do things really good, within reason, but I was doing good. Even through a vegetarian stage, man. Dude, you wouldn't believe it being a wog, but, But, so we go, I got an arm pump, man. I'm thinking it's the bike. I'm like, oh. Anyway, it wouldn't go away. And then I wanted to do the Rosebud Vics just for a bit of training. And then, I rode good. My bike, the 500 had issues with the spark plug or something. So I rode MS 450 Honda. Soft as, Emma, she's tiny.
Yeah.
But it was good. Max Purvis won. But it was me and him battling. He sort of checked out a little bit because I couldn't hold on.
Yeah.
But, I was passing him for the lead. He'd pass me back. I'd pass him. Good battles, but couldn't hold on. And then that's where I'm like, we got a serious issue, And I was working at the time doing curbing. And when I say I had arm pump, I mean every day, dude. Like, you can sort of look at it now, yeah?
Yeah.
These are relaxed. But, you can see that if I eat food, bro, my arms will just go, they'll pump up. And
so what was it?
So it's called compartment syndrome. And I believe that I've had it my whole life in my legs, especially because my legs, when I run or I cycle or I do CrossFit, my muscle fatigue is just insane. Like, my legs, to do leg training, when I had my knee reco in 2016 and stuff like that, I'd train legs to get my knees strength and all that up before I had surgery. It'd take me a week or two, man, for my legs to recover just to be able to run. Like, ridiculous. So it's called compartment syndrome. And I was chasing my ass with this for years. I had all sorts of therapies done, all these treatments, this person, that specialist, this specialist, every specialist you could think of.
So this is going on through COVID right now.
Start of COVID. And then, I can't, bro, it's such a blur. But I just remember, like, I was just, every week, man, I was trying to find a solution because I really wanted to race. It wasn't like I think I want to race. It was like, I want to race. Yeah. And again, I got kicked down. I'm like, I'm going to get through this. And then I think COVID happened, man. And then everything slowed down. I still tried treatments. Like, I went to treatments, man, every single week, twice a week. Like, I could not get them fixed.
What are you doing, like acupuncture and stuff like that?
Yeah, shock treatment, like stretching, all this sort of stuff. I was getting scans done, ultrasounds of my shoulders, my neck, get my neck straightened, my back straightened, like all this. I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, it's got nothing to do with my shoulders. Because how are both shoulders out?
Yeah.
At the same exact time. I'm like, just common sense, please. Like, and like, dude, I could not ride to save my life. Couldn't do a lap. Not even a quarter of it. It got really bad.
Yeah, you're saying you're getting like a minute in and it would just pump up and...
Not even, bro.
Yeah.
Not even. I couldn't even hold a knife to cut dinner. My fingers, like I couldn't feel like water at the end of them. My gloves, like you can sort of see my fingers look fat, yeah? It changes because I had pizza, the gluten and stuff. Like it affects me.
Yeah.
So...
Thought it was just because you're a concreter, but anyway.
Nah, like I have got big fingers, but like I'll wear a large glove or an extra large glove. Like I had to get extra large because my hands wouldn't fit in them.
Yeah.
And like I said, thousands of dollars. I've probably spent
because you got surgery and then they did the wrong surgery.
Yeah. So what happened was a friend of mine, Kyle, he goes, "Yeah, dude, they just had this podcast with this guy." He's talking about sausages and skins and releasing the muscle and all this bullshit. And I'm like, we're on.
Yep.
We're on, bro. I'm like, we're going. I'm going. So I booked a appointment. I booked a flight. At the time.
This is up in Queensland, isn't it? Yeah.
COVID too, yeah. Like, money wasn't great. Work slowed down. Like, things weren't the best. I'm like, I don't care, man. We're going. Booked a flight. And this is where I'm really lucky with the people that I have in my corner. David, who's helped me a lot, EDM group. He's he's helped me a lot. He bought me a couple Honda 450s to try and race, but my arms were still cactus because we thought we had all these solutions. Yeah, kept getting promised that we get fixed, and nothing was working. We just thought, let's get everything ready because if it works, we're on.
Yeah.
So I fly up there, and I see him. You know, and I'm getting pumped up. I'm like, yeah. And he's looking at me. I get me tape arms on the bench like this. He's looking at him. They're puffed up like balloons, dude. Like rock hard. He goes, yeah. How soon do you want to get it done? I'm like, ASAP. But I had no money.
Yeah.
I had no money. I couldn't even barely get home, dude. I had to eat like a rabbit when I was up there because I had no money. But I just wanted to get it fixed. Yeah.
Yep.
I rang Dave and I go, dude. Like, because David said he'd help me. And he goes, I'll give you some money. It was like, cost me 10 grand this trip. And yeah, some people might be like, 10 grand's nothing. But it is when it doesn't work.
A lot of money.
It is when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I already probably spent about 15, 20 grand by then. Between time off work and treatments and physio and therapy and all this other stuff. So he's like, we can do it tomorrow. I'm like, done. Booking a hotel for longer. I'm like, so I'm pumped. I'm like, we're back, baby. Like, because I felt like I still had a chance. Like, I felt like I could still do something. Like,
yep.
And I get the surgery done, and you know he's all whatever, and there was a stuff around that said I could fly home, but I couldn't because of the anaesthetic. So I had to stay another night. Cost more money, but they sort of looked after me. But they didn't look after me then because it was all whatever, you know. Mr. Doctor, everyone talks about. So then I get home and 2 weeks go past and he goes like, you know, after 2 weeks. But the thing was, I could use my hands straight away.
After the surgery?
Yeah. I'm like, And he goes to me, he goes, so we've cut you here, but we've used a glue, like, to put it back together. I'm thinking to myself, aren't you trying to release the muscle while you're gluing it back together?
You're talking about the fascia.
The fascia.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going like, why? I'm not a doctor, but I'm just trying to put shit together. Like, if you're cutting it like a sausage to release the sausage out of the skin, why are you going to grab the skin and glue it back over the cut? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And the incision was really small.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently that was the new way of doing it. So then it didn't work.
So how long did it take you to actually go, yep, this hasn't worked?
I did one ride. So I was meant to wait 2 weeks. I waited 4.
Yeah. And you said when we'd spoken about it previously, like it didn't feel really any different from before, which is sort of the telltale.
First ride was good.
Yep.
But I hadn't done anything for 4 weeks. I was super cautious. I wasn't working. I wasn't
you didn't want to stuff it up.
I wasn't doing anything because I didn't want to make the surgery. So the muscles had relaxed as well. So I went to back smash. Track's easy to ride. It was grippy. It was tacky. It was a sick day. Like, it was so much fun. And then I rode the next weekend. Bang, arm pump. I started panicking, dude. And I was doing everything right. I done this DNA test, man, and head to toe gave me a list of like 3,000 things of what not to do and what to do. What sort of diet I should be having, what food I should be having, what my body likes. I mean, the damn thing said I'd be prone to having a knee injury. Yeah, so I changed my diet completely, done everything correct because I'm like, I don't want to stuff anything up, and it didn't work. And at this stage, dude, like, I was done. Like, you remember, this was 2 going to 3 years of just constant. Every time I rode, I couldn't do more than a lap. Every time I went to the track, I'd have 3 or 4 people. When are you racing? When are you racing? Why aren't you racing? Why are you racing? You're too good. Why? Like, dude, I still got it today. And that really brought me down.
Yeah.
Always. I couldn't just go to the track and just be happy. It was, where you been?
It's like a slap in the face every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Where you been? Why aren't you racing? Oh, your arm's still. And I hate making up reasons and excuses, but I couldn't ride. And it's, oh, my arms, man. Oh, but what do you mean? Like, it's just an arm pump, man. I have to explain the whole story to him, explain how I don't know how to explain what's happened. It's just happened.
Yeah.
So it's still an issue now, man. I'm like, me and you now is fine.
Yep.
But like, every day, bro. Oh.
So at what point did you find out about the second surgery?
So, you know Tom Carroll?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was completely over it, dude.
Ball everywhere.
Like,
sponsors a podcast.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Carroll.
Yeah. He's a legend. Dude, I'm so over it, like, at this stage, dude. I was beaten, man. I was beaten. The one thing I loved in life was riding my dirt bike. I couldn't even do that. Like, not even for a corner. Because I was so pumped up already before I even got on the bike. I couldn't even enjoy it. It was just killing me inside. That's why I started building the car.
Yep.
Because I needed an outlet. I needed something with an engine that goes fast and it scares me. Like, I needed that. And then I was speaking to Tom. I can't remember if he helped me at a coaching day and we got talking, or Tyler mentioned it, but Tom had a bad injury with a wrist or an arm, and he's seen this surgeon. I went to see this surgeon, done some tests. Dude, I would love to see my face. He goes, I go on about this surgery, I put my arms on the table for this guy, and I'm going, like, I've got zero hope. I'm thinking, whatever this guy's going to tell me, I've heard before.
Yeah.
I can fix you. Oh, wait, I can't fix you. And then...
and even if he says he can fix you, you're going to have doubts because you've just spent a shitload of money and... Yeah.
Dude, so, like... I was getting my back straightened out 3 times a week. This guy was costing me $120 a session. It was 5 minutes. Hundreds, like... like, dude, like, because my spine's a bit, like...
Yeah, yep.
Shalaya from all my crashes, but I never went to physio because we couldn't afford it. So I've just dealt with it, you know, like, but, yeah, found out I broke my hip at one stage. I chipped it, like, but, I see him, I put him in, and he goes, the first thing he done is he looked at the scar because I told him what my situation is. I use my fingers a lot. I get it from breaking, like, it comes from, because there's different muscles for your wrist flexing and your fingers.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, that scar's too small. He goes, yeah. I said, that's part of the new surgery they can do. He goes, that scar's too small for what you need. And he grabbed my arm, dude, and he felt up here now. It's not like it, but it was a strip, bro, of concrete like that.
Yep.
Like hard,
Where the scar is.
where the glue was, like concrete. And he goes, "What is that?" I go, "It's some glue that he used." He goes, "Why would you glue it together when you're trying to let it breathe?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. $10,000 question."
Yeah.
We done some tests, and he was like shocked, dude. I tried to relax my arms as much as I could for a few days, but I was still working, so they never went to natural size.
Yep.
But I done a grip test, and the muscles, bro, inflamed like ridiculous. He was shocked, and he goes, "Yeah, we need to fix this. Like, this is bad, even just for general health, not even for riding, just for general stuff, because I'd lose like control. It sounds strange, but when your arms are pumped for so long, you get really weak and you drop things. And it could be a simple thing of, I'm in the kitchen with Jess and I drop a knife through her foot. You know, like, I don't want to hurt myself or anyone else. You know, and so you can see the scars now, right?
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the other ones were like there. So we go into surgery and it was only $3,000, bro. I haven't got private health, but it was only $3,000. And I'm thinking, where was this guy?
Yeah.
You know, like, where was this guy? I could have done this 3 times over.
Yep.
You know, like in Melbourne. You know, so then I get the surgery and, dude, I knew something was different because to get to the fingers, you have to cut through 2 other layers of muscles and fascias to get to it.
Yeah.
So you go through your main forearm, go to the next one, and then the next one. So you got to get everything out of the way to do it. And he in the surgery had to cut heaps out because of that concrete stuff, the glue. It took ages. I remember he said it'd be 45-minute surgery. It was almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because of all the other stuff you had to do.
So it's cleaning up the other mess, basically.
Yeah, the other dog shit. the guy. Anyway, so my arms were black, man. Like, they were bruised. They were sore. I was like, oh, man, like, he's done something good, but this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to be so sore that I'm like, this must work. But, like, this old lady that was taking care of me, the nurse, forgot to bandage me up. I thought something was wrong. But they didn't put the thing on. So the scars, like, when I got home, I was like, piss and blood. So I had to go urgent care, get wrapped up. In Melton too, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's like midnight in Melton, and I'm like, yeah, heaps of good stuff going on around here. You know, Jess is in her pajamas, tired as. I'm like, oh. But, yeah, so my arms, man, when I got that surgery, I think she got to stay at my parents for 2 weeks because I couldn't even open a door.
Yeah.
Like, my arms, I couldn't even straighten them.
T-Rex arms.
Like, full on.
Yeah.
So, to the point where if I was in bed, to let my arms relax, killed.
Did you have to get someone to wipe your butt?
No, I could do it myself, luckily. Like, I was lucky, like...
Yeah.
I'd sort of, you know, reach around, but... but it was hard to shower.
Yep.
Like, I had to be real careful.
Did they have to stay dry?
Yes. But I didn't shower often because I stayed pretty clean. Like, it wasn't hot. I didn't do anything. I stayed in the house. I stayed in cool clothes. I didn't sweat too much. I tried to be smart about it. But, man, I couldn't do nothing. But it was really hard to sleep.
Yes.
Really hard because I had to have my hands on top of my chest because when the blood started pumping, it freaking killed, man. But me being stubborn, I don't take painkillers. Like, I'd rather struggle than go to that. I don't know why. It's just the way I am. So when my arms are here, it was good. But then in my sleep, I'd move. I'd get blood rush. Or if my arm started to straighten out, man, I struggled to sleep. So I had to go to my parents for 2 weeks because I couldn't even open the fridge. Jess is working full time. I couldn't do anything, man. The dog wants to come up and give me a lick. I can't stop him.
Yeah.
You know, like, he wants to give me a kiss. Like, you're good. I'm like, ah. You know, like, I'm worried the scars are going to, like,
Yeah.
I was real worried. Like, I was like, this is the final one. It was meant to be 3 or 4 weeks healing. It took me 5. Like, it was gnarly, dude. And then at the time, I was working full time where I am now. I'm concreting with Aaron. And work slowed down as well. You know, just in general, you know, from all COVID stuff.
Yep.
You know, everyone just slowed down.
Well, the construction industry pretty much came to a dead stop. Yep.
Yeah, and all the money that I had saved, which wasn't heaps, but it was enough, was spent on that surgery and the 5 weeks of not working. Because in that 5 weeks, I still had to pay, I don't know, $2,000 in rent.
Yeah.
And then food. Like, the surgery was only $3,000, but it maybe cost me, say, $10,000 in the long run. Like,
Yeah, of course.
So we're up around $32,000 now for my arms. Like surgeries and treatment and stuff. That's not including rent.
Yeah.
That's just going in and out, like
Direct costs.
yeah, because and then work slowed right down. That made it hard because I got the surgery to ride. Can't afford to ride.
When did you know that the surgery worked?
It took me a while. It took me a while to be convinced. Let's just say it's better.
Yep.
So I truly believe like my arms won't ever be how they were. For what reason, I don't know.
Scar tissue?
No, like I'm a Christian. I have faith, and maybe things are just meant to be the way they are. Maybe I'm meant to struggle. Maybe if I didn't have this struggle, something worse would have happened to me. Maybe this is to teach others from my own doing. I've learned everything myself through my family. Like, it's been. I started riding again. I'm like, I knew it was better straight away, but it was different.
Yeah.
I have to warm up. It takes me almost a full ride. Like, I got to warm up, get my heart rate going. I got to get blood moving big time. And I have to almost do my first ride to warm up or first few laps, but I can't let them get pumped up. They will pump up still. I could pump them up in my lap if I wanted to, but I have to warm them up, then I have to cool them right down, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But being a concreter and work life, which is just the way it is, it's a lot of strain on them.
Yeah.
So I have to do maintenance. So I do some needling stuff with I hooks up wires and stuff, pulses all the muscles. That helps heaps. Resting is the best, but obviously I can't work and riding and whatever, so I get that done as much as I can. It's just hard because another expense. You spend $140 every time you go.
Yeah.
But they are definitely better. It took me a lot of convincing, and I had some bad days, had some good days, and then because I could actually hold onto the bike, I had to change my whole bike setup. Bike was way too soft. Like, everything was off now. I'm still chasing setup, because I've gone from being able to not ride anywhere near the speed I could for one corner to now I can ride pretty good for a lot of laps, and I'm hitting things differently now. Like, my upper body's loosening up. Things are a lot different.
Yeah.
The bike is just like, it's ridiculous.
So you're accommodating the other limitation.
Yeah, but it's good. Like, I'm wrapped. Like, I'm pumped. I'm able to ride.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely bad. It's just, I don't know, maybe that's just my journey, man.
So after all this has happened and now you're starting to ride again, like, where's your mental health at now?
It's pretty good. It's probably the best it's ever been. I pulled away from that party bullshit a while ago. I'll still, if it's your birthday or whatever, and we're good friends, we'll catch up and go for a palm and a beer and stuff like that, But it's not like it used to be. It's not binge drinking. It's none of that stuff. I go to bed pretty early. I look after myself. Jess and I eat pretty healthy every night. We cook our own meals, but that has a lot to do with it.
For sure.
I like to stay fit. I like to go for runs. I like to work on my bike. I like to ride my car, spend time with Jess, the dog, my parents. All that helps my mental health heaps. I'd definitely say, in ways, I'm pretty mentally strong. Sometimes instead of getting beat down, I just get angry.
Yep.
But in a controlled way. I don't do dumb things, but I'll use it to fuel me, like one thuggy. That drove a knife straight into me that day, man. I was shattered. It pissed me off. And that was enough.
Last week.
Yeah,
the
and
VIX,
that was enough to fuel me just to ride Colac. Even though I was still in huge pain, and my back and stuff like that, I was nowhere near in shape. Like, between my back and all my back was sore. My arms were cactus. They were still pumped up and sore because I was sick and I couldn't rest. It was enough to get me through that day. But yeah, I'm definitely a lot better, man. In a much better place.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Aside from your riding, you've done a few other things. Like, I've known you over the last few years, or known of you before I met you out at Blue Rock for your coaching. So, when did you get into coaching? Is it something that you've always done? And tell me a little bit about that.
So coaching for me started when I just went senior. it was a way of making money to go racing.
Yeah.
So the way when I was younger, I was like, dude, I could teach people, and then I could make money, and then I could go racing. That's how it all started. I didn't do much of it though, and it was way easier back then, dude. Way easier. Used to coach a group by myself. Didn't need any other coaches. You make good money. It was easy as, you put a post up on Instagram. People just rock up with cash.
Yeah.
Now it's like you need to email 15 times but
get your permits and all that.
And like there's too many options now. It's just, anyway. So the coaching started in 2012, and Merv Williams actually I got my license with. He trained me up at Horsham, a 2-day course, something like that. And all that obviously took a massive pause. I've done a few coaching days, done a few here and there, but it only has ramped up since and I wouldn't even say ramped up, but when I went full time to go racing, that's when I started doing some more one-on-one stuff. One-on-one was really what I was doing. That was keeping me afloat.
Yeah.
Every week I'd have 2 or 3 people, some group stuff. Emma had some group stuff. She would help me out. I'd do that group training for her if she had things on. So, she'd organise her coaching, but I would run it and get paid for it and all that sort of stuff. So that was real helpful. Yeah, I started trying to ramp it up more and more. Then COVID happened and all that sort of stuff slowed it down, and then trying to get back into it now. But it's tricky coaching. I really enjoy it. I enjoy, I'll use you as an example. You struggle with your things, right? But you try. And you're there and you listen. And you might not be able to apply it on that day, but I can see that you're taking in the information. You're going to take it home and you're going to try. And for me, that's like everything. The world we live in now is I struggle with it. You can sort of tell what type of dude I am. It's like you either want to do it or you don't. You either do it or you don't. You want it or you don't. There's no, for me,
get after
there's
it
no,
or you don't.
Yeah, there's no in the middle. You're in the middle, you're not even there. You're not even in the middle. You think you're in the middle, you're on the don't side.
Yeah.
You're not even ready. So that's all I ask. But it's getting harder and harder to coach, man. It's getting hard. For me, it's getting harder and harder to coach because I have to coach a different way that I don't really like. And it's like I'm not even coaching anymore.
Is that because you have to baby people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be so careful with what you say, man. You gotta be people are so sensitive. It's like, I can't say, yeah, you rode really good, but I seen this. It's like, but there's always a but. There's always a but. But there is always a but.
Of course.
And I want that. If I go to the track and Tyler, my dad, Emma, whoever, I'll be like, even Jess, I get Jess to film me, and she knows me enough now where she can see, pick on me, tell me what I'm doing wrong. There's always something.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is, man. There's always something. So I find it very hard because I got to walk on eggshells, and I can't even coach. It's like, instead of coaching, I'm just rubbing you on the back for whatever reason.
Boosting your ego.
Yeah, and I can't do it, man. It's not in me. If you're hiring me to coach you, I need to coach you the way I coach and to make you better. And it's simple of, you're doing this is what you're doing wrong, you need to try this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty nice about it. Real nice. I used to be a lot more savage. A lot more savage. Maybe I need to get back to my grassroots. But it's simple, man. You either want it, you don't. And I'll never force a rider to do something that they don't want to do or they're not capable of. I'm not going to tell you to go and stand up through a whoop section 5th gear pinned, otherwise whatever. It's not going to happen. I'm realistic.
Yeah.
And all I ask is that you listen, you take it in, and that's it.
So I've done a few coaching sessions with different coaches over the years. Even when I was a kid and I was racing as a junior, I did some coaching with a guy called David Mayhew, who raced at a super high level, and I got a lot out of that. So I love getting that feedback. We sort of spoke about it off air. I'm a bit of an overthinker, so I like to be able to think about that and then formulate a plan and then apply that the next time I ride and work on things. But one thing I noticed with your coaching in particular, the things that you look at, the things that you teach are very different from every other coach that I've ever, done work with, in that every other coach, they'll be looking or talking about a technique that really you already know, and they're just applying that feedback to you as a person or as a rider. The attack position and have your head here and put your knees there. And I found like your coaching approach was completely different. There was obviously the technique side of it, but you were like about lines and where to put your bike and how to read the track. And these were things like like I said, I've probably done sessions with 8 or 9 different coaches, not things that were ever addressed before. And the thing that I really liked about it was that, like, especially when it comes to line choice, you can actually become faster instantly. It's not something that you have to go work on, and if you're only riding once a month, it's something that you get an instant result out of. Yeah. And when you start putting that over a day's, you start to look at things differently. And that's sort of something that I really liked. And the thing that stuck out to me was your ability to see things on the track in terms of like a little bank here, a hole there, a rut there that you can bank off, things that I don't see other riders seeing. I don't see other riders using. You're taking lines when you ride, because I've watched you more closely now when you race, and even when you were coaching, you're taking lines and doing it super fast, but they're not lines that anyone else takes. And so I wanted to ask you, like, where did you get that perspective from? Like, where did you learn it? Who taught you? Did anyone teach you? Is this something that you've developed over years?
So that's a good question. It's good. It's good observation. So it is literally old school mentality. So the old school way is miss the bumps, try to stay out of the slippery stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I had bikes that didn't handle good. They were okay, but they kicked. And I wasn't afraid of it, but I had to find ways around it. You got to find ways. You try sort of, imagine my mindset was, I need to win or go as fast as I can. I can't let something get in the way of that. So say if there's a bump, it made me be creative. And I've got a few good friends of mine that are creative like that, and we sort of bank off each other. Yeah. And coaching helped that, because I was able to see things from it. Like, when you're riding, it's so easy to get locked in and just... But when I started coaching, I was able to see things differently. I'm like, hey, I reckon this would work if we do this. And I've always done it, but coaching gave me, opened my eyes up to it more. Again, I think it goes back to the new age. What happens is everyone rides the same line.
Yeah, 100%.
Their bikes have $10,000 suspension, all the shit. They hit one braking bump. They start to slow down because they've got a little kick, and they felt a little kick in their bum, and they start to slow down. The bike's no good. The track's shit. The tyres are no good. Whatever it is, my gearing's wrong. An off day. My race fuel wasn't race fuel enough. You know what I mean? Instead of being an actual rider with a racing mentality and trying to figure it out and problem solve and learn, and it's always the bike. It's this, it's that. That's what I see these days.
Yes.
I see that many bikes with that much work done to it, and I just think, dude, good on you for being able to do that. I wish I could have had that too. I'm not jealous of it, but it would be nice to have a good bike, but that's where everyone's going wrong.
Yeah.
Everyone's going wrong. It's always the bike. It's always this. It's always that. I think it come down to having a bike that I had to make work, and it fell back on my shoulders, and my dad taught me a lot.
Yep.
Old school mentality. Everyone goes on about jet lines, mono and bumps. Dude, that's been getting done since the 70s and 80s. James Stewart done it, Ricky Johnson. That's not jet lines thing. It's motocross. But everyone now relies on their bike to soak up a bump instead of using their brains
to miss the bump.
Miss it or jump it or whatever this case may be.
No, that's interesting. I was watching some of the Beatons guys out at PBI on Wednesday, and after, thinking about that coaching session and the things that you sort of taught us and the things we spoke about even at the end of the day there, and watching those guys through the day on Wednesday, the track was just getting like rougher and rougher and rougher, and they were hitting this corner, and on the exit there was just this massive hole that was like knocking them all. They had to button off, and I reckon for 2 motos they were all hitting the exact same line over. They were all buttoning off, and it was, I think, in the 3rd moto, like Chandler Burns started cutting up the inside, and was just like the speed difference between him taking a smoother line, and it was exactly what you said, like just missing the bumps made such a difference. Like, do you think it's just the bikes and the way and their ability to be able to absorb the punishment, or is it a downfall of other coaches, like that, why this has become the norm? To just go as fast as you can, but just follow that one line. It's almost like a cookie cutter process. And I've been guilty of it. Like,
We all have.
you see someone else ride and take a line, and then you think, you get in your head, that's the only line that's
I
there.
think it's a combination of things, and this is why I don't believe in this whole training group thing. For example, there's 10 riders in a group. I'm the fastest guy. I'm the fastest dude. Why is everyone else going to do different lines to me? They're going to follow me. My ability on the bike or whatever, I might be better and quicker. So it doesn't matter what line I do, but they're going to follow me and copy me. So everyone's just doing the same thing. Oh, he's doing that line. I'll do that line. Even if there's a hole in it. Obviously, bike's been a lot better, allows you to hit those holes. But I think it's, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, maybe like what you said, yeah. It's not thinking outside the box, man. Like, and I find that a lot with like groups that train together. They all do the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't reckon it only works for certain people. People that are mentally just like, we're a group, but we ain't friends.
Yeah.
You know, like if we're racing, we ain't friends. And that's why I didn't have any friends. And that's why I still don't. Because at the end of the day, like, we're racing, dude. Respect everyone, shake their hand, tell them. And if they beat me straight up, I'll be like, dude, I had nothing for you. Like, I've raced Webster before, man. One of the best races I've ever had at Warrnambool with him, you know, and we'll bang on bars, man. And I got so much respect for that dude. It was clean and it was aggressive as. But I don't know how to answer that for you. Seriously, like, maybe it's just laziness, no discipline. Just can just keep getting away with it. Just can keep getting away with it. But, I mean, I don't think you'd see a top rider do that, like Webster.
Well, they can go everywhere, but I guess in that group approach, he can go where he wants anyway because he is the faster guy, you know, between him and Jed, and it's everyone else that's following. So it's working for him. I think there's advantages to it from like talking to some of the younger guys in it.
Yeah.
The training with the intensity, like they were all like when they've started, like the intensity is way higher than when they've trained. And then that's something that they've brought into race day because they didn't realise you could ride with that sort of intensity. You know, they'd never done it before.
It takes a lot of self-discipline too. So say you're training in the group, there's a lot of intensity because you're feeling the pressure of everyone else. But what if your dad's standing there and he goes, go do 3 sprint laps for me? And you do your sprint laps and he says, now go do a 30-minute moto at your sprint lap pace. Yes, it's not the same. But if you're disciplined, if you're headstrong enough, you'll make it work. And if you can go do your sprint pace for a 30-minute moto, I can guarantee your intensity is going to be high. What do you think Carmichael done? What do you think Stewart done? I agree. The group training, definitely. Like, I would jump in a group a few times, but I wouldn't stay there. So not a chance. I'd go there, suss it out, see where I'm at, get the hell out. Because at the end of the day, I don't want anyone learning off me. Like, it's a hard sport on a good day.
And you kind of just touched on something because this is where I was going with this next was the more I thought about it after watching them and thinking about some of the things that you said, and I think the one thing or the one downside to that group mentality, they're always racing each other, always. They're always racing the clock.
Yeah.
They're always going out with intensity. They never get the opportunity in that environment, and they're training 3 to 4 times a week like that.
Yeah.
They're never getting the opportunity to be creative.
Yeah.
Like, because they're always racing either the clock or each other. They don't get those laps to go try different lines, you know, and because they might be lines that are a bit slower, they might be faster, but they don't get the opportunity to try it because they're sticking to a line that they know is okay and it's the line everyone else is doing.
Yeah, and you can tell by, you know, the home people at certain tracks, their line's always the same.
Yeah.
And it's just, it works. And I know exactly what you're saying, but this is where, like the top guys like Webster and Beaton, they're the type of guys, if they were there by themselves with their mechanic, they would do their laps every single lap like they were racing.
Yep.
That's why they can go to every other track in the country and like say Colony and all them, those top guys, they can go to any track in the country and they're the top guys. That's why people that can't train unless they're in a group, they won't be the top guys at another track.
Yep.
Their home track, they'll be good. You go to the other side of the country, you go over to Europe, go over to America, won't happen. That's why you need to have that self-discipline. You can't be, like in my opinion, you can't be relying on your coach or on other riders in your group to make you feel better.
Yep.
Like it needs to come from you,
And I think if you look at the top riders in the world now, even the Lawrences, like Eli Tomac's the prime example, even Deegan, they ride in small groups.
Yep.
And I'm talking 2 to 3 riders. Tomac rides by himself occasionally, rode with Jeremy Martin, does a little bit with Deegan now and then.
Sexton.
Yep, Sexton. They're all riding by themselves.
Little Roxon.
Yep.
Like it is, to me, like, imagine like in the early 2000s, you go, all right, boys, we're going to get the top 10 riders from each class. We're going to put you all together. You're going to know what each other eat. You know what each other sleep. You know you drink. We're going to know when you wake up, when you fart, when you go toilet, when you go on your date night. Everyone's on the same. Dude, they'd laugh at you. They would laugh at you. But now that's what everyone does. Diets, same trainers, same everything. How am I going to be better than you if we're doing the same thing?
Yeah, and those differences are minute, so you've got to work at it. The other thing that I saw with that, going back to the Vics at Wonthaggi, I was actually talking with one of the other riders, and I was watching the dynamic between Webster and Beaton when Beaton was chasing Webster. Mm. And it started to get me thinking, because when Webster was behind Beaton, you can see in his body language, his approach, he's constantly attacking, he's constantly closing that gap. They're very similar in speed. I think they both have the ability to push and catch each other. When Beaton was behind Webster, he was pushing, then you could see Webster start pushing, in the lead, pulled the gap out a little bit, and it was almost like instantly Beaton switched off. And I was thinking, they train together. Has he got in his head that when Webster pushes, I'm not going to catch him? Do you think that's already there, programmed in because they ride so much together?
Webster has heart, man. He has heart. He is still, he is one of very few riders that would go down trying to win.
Yep. But what I'm getting at, if they didn't train together, Beaton wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be pre-programmed in on race day.
You wouldn't every
that he's going to push that, 110%.
Yeah, you might think Beaton might, we're just talking theoretically, but
of course,
maybe he sees the way he does a couple corners and he goes, "Oh shit, Webster's on," because he's seen it before, But it's hard. It's a real hard one, isn't it? For me, no way, bro, no way. If me and you're competition and we're in the same group, I want to make sure I smoke you.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'll be pissed off. And the next week I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I think, and the other thing too is what you said before was they're training 3 to 4 times a week. Now, if you train intensely by yourself 3 to 4 times a week, you're going to get better. There is no way, what I say to kids and adults that I coach, I say, and it's just simple life. If you put in effort, you do all the right things, how can you not improve? It's literally impossible. If you're hungry for it, you're dedicated, you're putting in the effort, you're putting in the time, you're trying, you're crossing your T's, dotting your I's, how can't you get better, dude? So if you're training 4 times a week, your diet's on point, your off-bike training is good, you're going to get better, man. It might not be the group. That might just be the icing on the cake, but it's the effort that you're putting in,
I'm super keen to see how the season plays out in that regard.
Yeah, it'll be good. See, I'm interested to see how Purvis goes.
Yeah, he's going to do well.
He's
going to do well.
he is, he sent it. But so does Webster. Webster ain't scared to go for it.
You think Purvis is going to be that quick that he's going to be up with Beaton and Webster?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know why? He rides with heart.
Yep.
He rides with heart. He rides like he's got a point to prove. The old school way. He's like, I'm here to win. I want to try win. I can't stand it when, and obviously they're a lot better than what I am, but I can't stand when a top rider settles. They're like, I only felt like getting 8th today. It's like, dude, you were a winner last week. How you 8th today? That settling kills me. It's that settling. It used to eat me up with Kenny.
But the settling, yes.
They used to eat me up, and now look at him.
But
no settling now.
The settling, and I totally understand it from, because as we sort of spoke about it, I am super competitive. So I know in my own head there's definitely situations where I won't settle. But when I watch racing at that level, the settling sometimes creates longevity, whether it's within a season, whether it's within a career, that allows you to come back the next week and win. Whereas motocross is such a dangerous, knife's edge sport that pushing can mean the difference between being out for 12 months and winning a race.
I think, and that's a real good point, and it's true. But I also think it has an opposite effect too. So say the other week when Sexton made that mistake in the whoops, when Mookie beat him.
Yep.
Would you say he settled a little bit? Not like before Mookie got him, he slowed down? Oh,
yes. Yeah. Yep.
So what happens is, I'm just saying possibly you start to settle. Then your instincts start to settle. That's when sometimes you get hurt more.
That's when Sexton always crashes. When he's got a big lead.
And I really look up to Sexton. I think...
Amazing rider.
I think him as a person.
Yep.
His work ethic. Everyone that picks on him, I think they just got no idea. I think most people that pick on Sexton have never been in the sport or been at top level. Because if they had been, I actually...
What do you mean picking on him? I never really...
You know when people are like, Sexton tucked the front again?
Yeah.
They're so quick to jump on him. But, if Jet tucks the front end, poor Jet. Or, if Cooper Webb cross-rutted at Daytona and lost the race and didn't win, that sucks. You put Chase in that situation, tens of thousands of people are commenting, picking on him. And I think it's bullshit because people struggle with things.
Yep.
Everyone's different. Sexton has his things that he has to work on. But the thing is, dude, he trains harder than anyone. He's still there every weekend, and he still has to damn go.
Yep.
With all the negativity around him, with all whatever he's struggling with, he's still there. And that's more than what most people do. People give up when they go to work and they stub their toe. They go, today's a shit day. Off a stubbed toe. You know what I mean? He's a weapon. I look up to him big time, man. He's up there with my favourite rider.
Totally agree. And it's funny you say that because they were the same about Tomac before he started winning the championships. It was like year after year he was so close and people wrote him off, people criticised him. He was still the same guy and he just kept coming back. And it's forgotten now that, he was one of the most winningest riders without having a championship because he's had the success now. But he was in the same sort of boat. And I think Sexton has the potential to be there as well.
Absolutely. And that's, getting back to that, settling, it's so tricky. I think it's Carmichael's got pretty good at it. He knew his limit. He didn't go past it, but he didn't settle. He didn't just go, Stewart's going to win, I want to back off.
Yep.
He still rode the race to his potential as much as he could because Stewart could make a mistake and he could still win. But now, dude, a guy settles and he's 45 seconds behind. You would never see Carmichael or Stewart, if they didn't crash, you'd never see them that far behind between each other or a minute. You think about even Pastrana or McGrath or anyone, Dungey and Villopoto in their prime. You would never see them one weekend racing, next weekend 46 seconds difference.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, dude. Yeah, maybe riders are closer, this, that, the other, but at the end of the day, the guys that are winning are still the guys that are winning.
I spoke to Dean Wilson at the end of the Supercross season and he was heartbroken because there was a couple of races in the Supercross last year in Australia that he knew that he settled on. Like Wollongong was a prime example when Savachi was out in front, hit the net, crashed, got back on, and Wilson had mailed it in. and then all of a sudden there was an opportunity that he could have won the race, but he didn't because he'd buttoned off. Yeah. So I see sort of what you're
it's
getting
the worst feeling, dude. It's the worst feeling, like
not leaving it all out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it eats you up. If you're a real racer, man, it eats you up because you've put so much work into it, so much dedication for so many years, and for a race that had maybe 2 minutes left, or 5 minutes, or whatever it is of your, say it's 20 minutes of your life, and you've put tens of years into it, and you let a 1 second decision, it eats you up.
And I didn't mean to infer earlier, if that's how it came across, that Beaton had settled, just that he wasn't going to push, and that had been in his mind, like, as a thing, because
it's like Webster broke him mentally.
Yeah, but I wouldn't breaking is probably the easiest way to describe it, but I wouldn't even describe it as breaking. He just knew, like,
I think it goes both ways, but like
Webster knows that he can push that, and that he's not going to get chased.
Reckon,
so the difference now, this year, I think, compared to last year, at this time, Beaton looked like he was really struggling on the Yamaha. And he's had, success last year in motocross, success in supercross. He's now coming into his second year on the CDR Yamaha. And even without having that dog in him, and I don't know what's going on in his head. Maybe he has got the dog in him, but you don't see it, in his riding and his body language. But I think he's got the speed to be very, very close to Webster. And the only difference I saw with those guys at Wonthaggi was who got the start.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see them race this year.
I don't think Beaton's comfortable yet. Like, straight up, Beaton, I reckon, could beat, like, Beaton's fast, man.
That's what I'm getting at.
And like,
he doesn't need that 110.
I've seen him do some raw speed stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like, even at Wonthaggi, I don't think he was at his best.
Mm-hmm.
But I seen him do some corner things and some, like, European riding, and I was like, yeah. Like, you can just see it, like. And like what we were saying before, I reckon he could break Webster. I reckon it goes both ways. Because I've seen him do some things, I'm just like, damn, man. But you can see it, like, I think if it all, because he had issues with his arms and stuff too, So I think if it all comes together, it's going to be good racing.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
So on that note, what are your thoughts on the health of the sport in Australia, like at the moment, compared to, when you were racing before you left for Europe and after you got back, and, that previous generation of racers?
I don't think it's gotten any stronger. I don't think so.
Are you talking about the pointy end of the spear or through the whole field?
Through the whole field. The pointy end is still up there. Think about it, right? How many Australians have gone overseas in the past few years and done well? Like, you had Jay Marmot went over. You had Craig Anderson. You had Michael Byrne. Chad Webster's gone over. Ferris was gone over. A few fair few gone to Europe. Who's that young kid that just went over, number 66 from the Cato?
Cade Mania.
Cade Mania. Like, the peaky end is still right. Like, Australians are fast right up there. But the junior scene, not so much. They got too much. Their bikes are too good. The riders are soft, and so are the parents.
So when you say the junior scene, like, what are we talking about? Like,
the juniors just coming up into seniors. So you say 15-year-olds.
Yep.
I don't see them as fast, dude. Not at all. I remember when I was a young 15-year-old, not even myself, others too, on a 125. If you weren't, like, beating, like, a decently top 250 senior rider, like, you weren't happy. A good junior 250 rider, like, should be right up there.
Yeah.
Right up there. Like, they should be kissing at the top 3 of MX3, which some of them are. You know how they come up to MX3 and bang, they win. You don't even know who they are, and they're winning. So, they're the ones. But I think everything under there, like, if you think about it, how much training there is these days, how many coaches there are, how good the bikes are, how much time people are putting into training during the week on the bikes, and how many bikes they have and all that. That stuff wasn't around 10, 15 years ago, and the competition was probably just as strong. Now everyone has more, and I don't really think the level of riding's gotten better. But, yeah.
No, I'm really interested then, because I voiced this opinion on the podcast late last year. I think our MX1 class is fairly strong.
Yep.
I think our MX3 class is super, super strong. And I felt like, and maybe it was because of COVID and the lack of competition, but I feel like the MX2 class, the pointy end is there, but then, it tapers off very quickly in terms of the. But for me, I felt like the MX3 and SX3 class was absolutely
dog eat dog.
Yep, that next level, and now this year's going to be cool with Ryder Kingsford and Seth Birchall, like those guys stepping up to MX2 and SX2. That's really going to strengthen that. But I felt like because that's why I was interested to see what you meant when you said that next junior class coming up. I feel like our MX3 class is like super strong.
I'm talking from just the Victorian side.
Yep.
Stand for you too. So that's what I was saying, like the top riders in MX3, like the WBR boys.
Yep.
Like those top, and that Dry Woods, like those top 4 or 5.
Byron
MX3.
Dennis. Yep.
Yeah, dude. Fast.
Yep. A lot of them have gone up this year.
But they ride hungry.
Yep.
See how hungry they ride? They're dedicated. They don't give a shit, man. They just want to win.
Cade Kingsford.
Yeah, they just want to win, dude. They'll overjump shit. They'll hit braking bumps like they want to win. But then it just, to me, it drops off. Like that's...
And
but I'm talking from Victoria, though.
Yeah,
like, they're not even Victorians.
Yep.
Like, from Victorian standpoint, I reckon it's not that strong. Our tracks are shit. They're terrible. Where do you train during the week, man? Unless you're with the Beatons, where do you go? You don't have an actual race track to practice on. You really don't. You go, Park 4 is fun and all, but it's not a racetrack.
There is, use Wonthaggi for the Vics as an example. There is no track around like that, like that was on race day where you can train.
Nah, not even close, dude. Not even. I haven't ridden something like that in, I don't even know when. I haven't been in ruts that long, dude. I don't even know if I ever went in ruts that long.
Yeah.
With bumps that big.
Yeah.
Like, I was struggling. I was dog shit, but like, dude. But the tracks, man, where do you train? I can't remember. Like, again, that's why I liked Hastings. There was a jump that I was jumping, and I had to hit it flat out to get it.
Yeah.
When's the last time I've done that?
Because they've tamed the tracks down.
Don't know. Like the speed, the braking bumps, the ruts. Like, oh man, it's terrible here. Like it's shocking, in my opinion. That like.
So what do you put that down?
I'd go straight to. My plan was, if I was going to race, I'd go straight to South Australia or somewhere else and train.
Yeah.
I'd get out of Victoria because here to me is just no good.
But see, the South Australians are coming over here because they're
got the connections.
They're complaining. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, private tracks over there.
No private tracks here. If you can get onto private tracks here, you're on. But if you just ride public tracks, you go South Australia, you can get into Gilman or Murray Bridge or whatever, national level tracks. That's sick. Like I done the South Australian titles after Blue Rock at Murray Bridge, then I rode it the next day. It was sick. Track was beat up. It was rutted.
Yeah.
It was mad. I would have stayed there all week if I could have. You'd go private tracks or you go to New South Wales. There's probably 5 or 6 good tracks in New South Wales, like real good tracks. A lot of options. And when they're prepped pretty consistently. Here, like I've been to PBI and it's 9 times out of 10 it's hard pack.
It's a ride park though.
Exactly right. It's a ride park. But what does a rider that's trying to race nationals get from that? You go to, I don't even know what ride park's like anymore. I don't go there. Oh, I can't because I'm not allowed in there. My old bosses own it.
Oh,
yeah. But like where else do you go? It's hard, man. It's hard. The tracks are everything.
Do you think that's got something to do with like the new level of? And I say new, it's sort of not sort of like a light switch. It's been something that's been building over the last probably 5, even 10 years. But it's definitely ramping up now with all the insurance issues and things. Do you think it's because they're making the tracks a lot tamer than they used to? I mean, having the new rules of having to be able to see down ramps from up ramps and things like that. Like,
I haven't gone into the details of the rules. I think that the tracks have been deteriorating for the last sort of 10 years. Now, slowing the tracks down and making them tighter, to me, isn't making them safer. So, for example, you're adding more jumps to slow the track down. I don't think it's a good idea. You're putting Band-Aids on open wounds. Like, you're not fixing you can't fix the issue. There is no issue. It's motocross. You're going to crash. You know, unfortunately, that's just the way the sport is. That's how it is. Now, do you think a deep rutted track with 2 lines around it and massive bumps everywhere is going to fix the issue? Like what we had to deal with? You know, I'm not complaining. Same track for everyone at One Thuggy. But do you think that was safe? You go off the main line, you're going over the bars. But, you know, if that track wasn't ripped quite as deep, bit more open, nice bigger jumps.
Multiple lines,
more raceable, would have been safer. And I don't care about the safer part, whatever. For me, it's nothing. I'm there to race. I'm just thinking of it outside.
you race what's there.
Outside view.
Yep.
You know, so I've been to a few tracks, and they're adding things to slow tracks down and making things tighter, but it's not any safer because the tracks form up different. You get holes at the bottom of jumps more because you haven't got as much speed, so you're spinning.
Yep.
You're chewing stuff out. The tracks form up different. You might fix one thing, you make another issue.
Creating kickers, creating holes.
And then the worst thing is, you can't even race. So apart from trying to make it safer, which you're not even doing anyway, because motocross, and dude, there could be a first corner crash and everyone goes down. You know, or one person crashes at the lead of the pack over a jump and everyone crashes in. Like, there's certain things you just can't fix. But what they're doing is making the racing worse, in my opinion. It's so hard to pass on tracks now. So hard to pass, man. You got to be aggressive to do it. And it makes it annoying because when you're racing, you got to come up through the field, you need to pass straight away. Especially if you're a good rider. Like, if you're back, you need to get through the field, you need to get going. But when you can't pass, it starts to get sketchy.
Yep.
It starts to get real sketchy. Like that race at Colac, it was A, B, and C together. I was past some C graders 4 times. It's not even fair on them. Like, why should a beginner be racing me? It's not even fair. He's trying to go around the track he's struggling with, sand, and I'm coming roaring up the inside of him. And they can't even hold their balance because they're shitting themselves and I'm coming behind them. You know, I feel bad for him, man.
Yeah.
But what am I supposed to do? I'm racing, you know, and they talk about safety and then they do shit like that. I just bring back old school tracks, man. Open them up, get them flowing, and then they have tracks that are too open. Look at Warrnambool, great people there, awesome people, but what's that track, dude? Just pinned. It's literally pinned, and to go faster is the hugest risk you could think of because it's almost just one pace. Then you get that extra pace, you start scrubbing harder. You start jumping a bit further. That's when shit goes pear-shaped. Bigger than ever. You grab a foot off the ramp, full peg, wash the front wheel out. I don't know, you been to Warrnambool? Fast. Real fast.
Yeah. And always hard pack.
Hard pack as.
Yeah.
I like their old track better. Their old track was fun. But you can need change. But yeah. I went to, even Traralgon on the coaching day. I love Traralgon. Sick track. Now they've added some jumps in. Again, great bunch of guys, and they're just trying to do the right thing. But it's so unenjoyable.
So what do you think is the best track in Victoria, like in terms of all the points that you've sort of just made? What do you think? Is there a place in Victoria at the moment that does nail it?
Dude.
From a racetrack, not a ride park.
I haven't raced much for a while, man. So it's hard. A lot of tracks have great potential. It's putting it all together, you know. The track I used to reckon was pretty good was Swan Hill.
Oh, yep.
Swan Hill's a pretty good racetrack, man. That got rough and rutted. That was a pretty good track.
I'm disappointed you didn't get to Ballarat last year. That was Monza Park.
Actually, I was there watching.
Yeah. What did you think there?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the one we thought was going to be real wet?
Yes.
But it ended up being mint?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monza in that condition is mint. But, again...
And that was ripped like they've never ripped it before.
But imagine that track when it's dry and hard pack and everyone's going fast.
That's my kind of track.
So it's so hard to pull away.
Yeah, yep.
Because I don't know how to explain it, but motocross tracks are losing that motocrossy vibe.
Yep.
To turning ride parkish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Monza's always been a real good track, dude. I remember riding there when I was on KX60, and it was a long loop. Way longer than now. up and down the hills, chicanes, like proper. Went forever. I was scared of it, man. Going up these damn hills. Thought I wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, what is this shit? Talcum powder everywhere and rocks. Like I grew up in a paddock riding around a circle, man. Now I'm going up hills.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the point you made previously, I feel that way, like with how deep they rip the tracks nowadays. Yeah. To me, that's not natural terrain either. Like, no. And I know the fast guys like your Beatons and your Websters and your Gibbses and your Cloudies, they love that because it creates a level of separation. But as a spectator as well, I don't necessarily want to see too much separation. So
yeah, it's hard. Like, it creates separation and it doesn't. It creates separation from the riders that get to ride that every day and the ones that don't. Factory riders, privateers. When you have a track that's raceable and it takes guts to hold the bike on, that's what separates riders too. Like, you got to have it ruts and bumps, and you got to have it. You know, it's got
to be rough.
Yeah, you got to prep the track properly, but you don't turn a hard pack track into a sand track. It's a hard pack track. It's going to go hard pack and shit.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while it's soft. Yep. You know, like,
I agree with that.
You can definitely have the best of both. I reckon, like, I think that the Australian tracks in like 2010, 11, 12, 13, all that era, were pretty much bang on. The way they were prepping them, the way they were, super raceable. Inside, outside, like, you could race. Things have changed, you know. Although, you know, the Nationals seemed pretty good in Queensland. I went and helped Emma. QMP, that seemed pretty good. I was getting real jealous.
I thought the tracks, all the tracks last year were good. I don't think we had one that was like...
The Nationals I'm not that familiar with.
Yep. Last year
the
they were good.
National tracks are good, man.
Yep.
When you think about it, like Murray Bridge, how good was that? I was jealous, man. People waiting for Emma. She done grouse, but I was just looking at her riding. I'm like, oh, dude, I wish I was out there. And Gilman.
Yeah, Gilman was awesome.
Gilman. Yeah, even QMP, man. I was just like, the national tracks were good. But that's why I was spewing like that MXGP, you know, how it's coming over. It's like, why Darwin, man? Like, I don't know if you can with rules and regulations, and because it might be MXGP, like, whatever. But, like, imagine if they did an MXGP in a state where we go to the Nationals, and then that MXGP circuit became part of our national series somehow. You know, or I don't know if
on the same weekend.
Or yeah, or even just like a completely separate weekend. You know, like how they use like say Leerop for like.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, you know they use like Leerop or whatever for like a Dutch Nationals, but then they use it for like an MXGP race.
Yep.
Like imagine having like an MXGP circuit built here in a state that we race in every year, and that was a part of our series. Like having that sort of spec track. That would change everything. That'd be sick.
It would, yeah.
It'd be an eye-opener if it's built on MXGP spec. I don't know if that's possible or if it's doable, but that'd be sick. But instead they're going there, it's 40 degrees every day where no one's going to go. Like, imagine the Bend. There's hotels there and everything. Fly into the Bend, build a track there or something. I don't know. It's not that hard. Apparently it's like $6.5 million over budget anyway. Who cares?
Philip Island.
Dude, do something.
You've got all the facilities there, like at the racetrack. It's a motorsport complex.
Yeah.
They've got the room. Like, they've got hundreds and hundreds of acres of property that are associated with that.
There you go.
That
it'd be good dirt probably too.
Yeah. And it can sit there for when it's not being used and it's not getting in anyone's way. It can have cows running on it, you know, in between the races.
Yeah. Like, dude, like, that would be sick. Like, to me, my first thought was like, dude, that'd be sick. Like, because MXGP usually has like MXGP track builders, you know, like. When I was in Indo, none of that one race, man, the jumps are big. It's like 43 metres, dude. This triple step up. Stock, Kato. Bottomed out suspension up the ramp. Tyres are rolling. Like, I'll shit myself, man. Fast as I could go. And you turn right, drop down, there's this triple, and I seen VL jumping on 250. I'm like, I'll get that. Dude, cased it, hands blew off, almost died. Doubled it the rest of the day, shit myself. Dude, the jumps were that big. I'm like, what's going on here? The stepping stone.
That's the next level.
The stepping stone, the gap was massive. From our tracks to them, the gap was massive, dude. I was like, what's going on here? Like, the amount of dirt that was in one of their jumps is more dirt than like 3 of our tracks put together. But, yeah, we need better tracks, dude. And I wish I could do it. I wish I could put back into the sport in that way. I really, truly wish I could just go build a facility and have races and have practice days and build a proper track, like for everyone, like for you to come out and then for the top boys to come out. 2 separate tracks, like full on, sick. I don't know. I wish I could do it.
I fantasize about stuff like that. So
I played in a sandpit for like so many days as a kid, building jumps, MX Unleashed and all that, like all those crazy little motorbike games. You start getting ideas, but it'd be sick. It'd be sick, dude. I've tried talking heaps of people into it. Like, let's just do it. Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard.
Big the amount of regulation and the cost involved, and having a facility where you can do it, like
you pretty much need to go into it being happy to lose all the money you put into it.
Yep,
it'd be sick, but
I think in the long run you could make money out of it. But for the first 2 or 3 years, it's putting it all in.
It's dangerous building your own track, dude. I've done it before, and it's just like you build a jump, you start building it, you're like, yeah, go a bit bigger.
You're growing with it. And then someone else comes there for the first time and goes, fuck that.
Dude, it's so funny, man, because like I'll build something, I'm like, oh, that's a bit big.
Yeah.
Then I'll jump it straight away. I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I've got to go make it bigger.
Yeah.
But it's so fun, man. I get such a thrill out of building tracks.
I got at my in-laws' place, I got a track on their farm, and it was the same thing. I built like there's a triple, a double, and it's the same thing. It started off tiny, and I just kept building it up. And you've seen my level of riding. It's not anything notable, but I've had mates up there that I ride and race with, and it's like they look at it now and go, fuck that.
Yeah.
But I've grown with it, It's like so.
But that just proves the point, eh? It literally you just proved the point that the track makes you a better rider.
Yeah.
Because the track got bigger, it got better, it pushed you to do bigger and better things. It made you a better rider.
No, for sure. All right. So our last topic for the podcast, because we've gone on for quite a while.
Dude, it's been good.
All right. So it's a double-sided question. What's next for Joel Milesevic as a rider? And what's next for you, like with your career in the industry, with your coaching, and you had a team which we haven't really spoken about. You had a junior team that you'd taken on.
Yeah. Had a team for a couple of years. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll start off with as a rider. Like, what's next? I know you're still hungry.
I'm still.
I can see it in your eyes, mate, when you talk.
Yeah. No, I'm still hungry, but it's very difficult times, man. And as we all know, things aren't getting cheaper. And, I hate beating a dead horse, but it's expensive to live. I do my best. My wife and I do our best to save our money as good as we can, but it's expensive, dude. Like, I want to race, straight up. I hate the fact that I'm not. It eats me up every day. Like, you remember the mental health stuff we're talking about? Like, this is what kills me. I feel like I can still do it. I still do not care if I crash.
If you had the right support and the right bike,
I could do it on any bike.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
I could make it work. Like, that's how much I want to do it. Like,
yep.
Dude, maybe not a TM, but like, dude.
Ducati when they come over.
Yeah. Whatever, man.
Yep.
Like, I don't care. If I could get some bikes and some support and stuff, I'd try and make it happen, because you have to. But it's hard. Like, I've got a life. I've got,
a life outside of racing.
I've got a wife, and we're trying to save up for our first house. I've put it off.
Yeah.
With racing so many years, it's people don't understand. Like, $300 here, $400 here. Like, I've spent $2,000 on my bike in 2 weeks. Clutch, tubes, chain sprockets, top end, gaskets, little bits and pieces here and there adds up real quick, and I do all the work myself.
Yeah.
So for racing, it's a hard one, man. I think it's going to have to take a step back. I don't want it to. I really don't want it to. I want to do some winning. I'm not done yet winning, that's for sure. But whether it's going to happen this year, I don't know.
So we're gonna see you maybe do the next round of the Vics.
See how I feel. Yeah.
Vet Nationals at the end of the year.
Yeah, vet.
Will you be 30?
No, I'll never do a vets when I'm 30 years old, bro. That's sandbagging. That's sandbagging, dude. That's
Challenge yourself. Do it on a TM.
That's like going back to grade 3 to get a spelling test correct. You know what I mean? Like, dude, vets at 30. Spring chicken, bro. I mean, I am feeling pretty beat up. My body's been
And
stuffed.
they're all 30, so it's
That's just as bad as riding a stock, dude. I ain't doing it. No, I'm not. Damn, I'm not getting in a Tesla. But
I love it.
yeah, no, I want to do some racing, man. I do. I just find it very, very hard to enjoy it if I'm not doing it properly.
Yep.
If I'm out there and I'm not riding to my ability and I'm struggling, dude, I hate it.
Yep.
Straight up.
I'm
embarrassed.
If you don't have the tools to do the job the way you want to do it, yeah, it's
so
no fun.
I've made a decision this year to try and set up for a house. Where that leads, I don't know. You know, as in where we're going to live and build, and that will dictate a lot what sort of lifestyle I want to go for, because it's getting to that stage. You know, I'm almost 30 and Jess is 32. Like, we need to make choices. You know, so racing, it's going to take a step back, but then I'll probably change my mind and go race, just because it pissed me off that I can't race, so I end up racing. And then coaching wise, it's a very full calendar this year. Very full. It's hard. I'll do one-on-one, and I'll do some more schools. But I try to do my schools to make it work with everyone.
Yeah.
You know, the calendar's full, and I'm not an online coach, dude. Everyone wants an online coach now. They want to be able to log into their phone, pay a $40-month subscription or whatever the hell they're doing, for someone to say an automatic message or whatever it is. I'm not about it, man. I'm not about it. You want coaching? Come to me. We're doing dirt bikes. I'm standing there and I'm teaching you. For me, I'd rather not coach than go online. That's just me. You know, my sister's doing really good at it, man. She's put a lot of effort in. She does online stuff. She can do it. I can't. I'll do it as long as I can, but I ain't going to be doing any online stuff, I don't reckon. I'll struggle.
And what about your JM62 team? So you had that for 2 years. Yep. What was that about? Like, just tell me a little bit about that. And are you going to do that again? Try that again?
So it was based on trying to help riders develop. So like a development team. I always wanted to do something. Tyler came to me with, like, freshen up the idea in my head, made it sound real. You know, he instead of it being like it'd be cool, it was like we could actually do this. You know, he helped a lot. You know, without him, it wouldn't have happened. You know, so it was okay. The first year was good. The second year, everyone started getting entitled, riders and parents. They forgot who owned the team and who the coach was. I took everything. You know, so we probably, you know, going back, I'd change some things. Keep it. It's hard, but I'd keep it more of a team. I'll probably get more experienced riders, or not more experienced riders that are tough. You know, I tried to pick riders that I knew that I thought were like going to try and do something with it. They didn't have much.
Yep.
I didn't want to get a rider that had a $300,000 camper van and all the best shit. I didn't want that, because that ain't me. I wanted a rider that likes riding and wants to do something with it. It was all right. The first year was okay, but like I said, man, everyone's soft. It's just, parents are soft, man. Kids are soft. Like, it drove me into the ground, man. It drained me mentally. Like, it almost not killed me, but it just drained me of life, man. It made me hate going to the track.
So what were they expecting?
It's like they got a lot, yeah. We got them a lot of sponsorship. Yeah, like there was a sign-on fee and all that sort of stuff, a small one, but you know, that funded me, like, coaching them, training them. And yeah, sure enough, sometimes I wasn't able to train them and whatever, but like I went to all the races out of my own time. I still worked full time, and we tried to adjust things for the second year. So instead of it being like a weekly fee of, like, because I was coaching them every week, it was like, how did we do it? So it was a weekly fee. Then the next year we made it cheaper for them, like way cheaper, dude. You got to remember too, all these weekends I'm at the track with them. I'm not coaching. That's where they don't understand. They go like, you shouldn't be making money. It's like, I need something to cover my cost just to get to the track, because I'm not with Jess. I'm not riding. I'm not coaching. I'm not working. I'm still got bills to pay. And the worst thing is, you guys aren't even trying. All I'm getting is excuses. Oh, but this. Oh, but that. Blah, blah. Dude, I'm only asking you to use your front brake a bit more. I'm only asking you to shift gears or stand up a little bit later. I'm not asking you to go and win a title. I'm asking you the most basic things to try, and you give me excuses. Like, dude, soft. Simple as that, man. Like, it was disappointing. And I wish the kids all the best. Like, they're riding all right. But, you know, it was a shame how it all went. And, yeah, not much respect, man. No one has respect. Like, I think we gave them, through sponsorship money, retail almost $8,000 worth of stuff each kid. That's twice the amount that I got on the junior team, dude. Twice.
That's a lot.
I got them connected with every sponsor I knew.
And there'd be people that would kill for that.
Bro, I've been with Golden Tire for like how many years now? Built a solid relationship. Took me years to build a relationship. I walked him in on a red carpet. You know what I mean? So did Tyler with his sponsors. Walked him into all our sponsors and all our people that I've spent years trying to build a relationship with and guys. And I went, here's everything. And like, if you guys want to continue with it, yeah. In the end, it all went pretty sour, man. And it was a shame because the way I wanted to set it up was if the team ever sort of couldn't do it anymore, I wanted to set every rider up that they had the gateway into all of our sponsors to keep them going,
support,
to help them.
Yep.
But in the end,
it's like teaching a man to fish.
Dude, in the end, they were leaving the team because their kids said so. Because their 10-year-old goes, oh, I want to pit under my mate's pit tent. I didn't say you can't hang out with him, but your bike's going underneath our damn pit tent. And our pit tent is not a kindergarten. We're here to race. We're trying to be professional. There is no other team in here or rider that's a privateer that has someone or two people trying to help them as much as we did. Yeah, maybe we had things to iron out. Everyone does. But, dude, ridiculous.
But I think this is something that permeates even up to like the pro level guys today. I've been talking, over the last couple of years with a couple of team owners, and I've heard stories, and these are like well-funded satellite teams where riders are getting, free bikes, suspension, gear, all that sort of stuff. And I've had team owners tell me, this rider refuses to wear the gloves that we provide from the sponsor because we can't get him in the colour that he likes. So he's wearing a different one. He goes, now we can't use any of the photos that we paid for at this event of him because he refuses to wear it.
That's all how they're raised by their parents, dude.
Yeah.
And I see it with the junior kids, man. It's ridiculous, dude.
I wanted to end this on a positive.
This has been good, but man, I think people need to hear it, and people need a real good wake-up call because everyone's living in a fantasy world. Let me rephrase that. Not everyone. Majority of people are living in a fantasy world. Straight up, man. Probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to anyway. You see kids these days that aren't fit, overweight, like not even in shape, dude, and their bikes are blinged out. It's like, where are we at with this sport? You're eating cheeseburgers, but you got a race bike because you're not quick enough or whatever. Like, where is the mentality at, man?
Because you can buy one, but the other takes work.
Yes,
that's what
effort
it is.
and discipline.
Yeah,
but that snowballs into so much. Snowballs into my gloves are the wrong colours. I can't wear them. Discipline. Structure, like it all just one leads to the other. You know what I mean? You can't dude, it makes me sick. And that's what I was saying earlier, where I feel like Europe's my home. They'd laugh, man. They come here. Laugh. They'd laugh at everyone.
Is it because over there the pool is deeper, so they have to fight tooth and nail to get anything, to get anywhere, so they respect it, they appreciate it, they understand it better?
Their lifestyle, the way they're raised, is old school.
Yeah.
Right from wrong. Yes, no.
Black and white.
Black and white. Behave, misbehave. Not, oh, you misbehave, but it's okay. I love you. None of that shit. It's you're wrong or you're right. Black or white. And I think it teaches you a lot. Yeah, like it teaches you. You're either doing it or you're not. There's no other thing. And when you are as a family, like say you and your kids and whatever, when you're all on that same wavelength of like we're putting everything into this
Together,
that's why you get them where they're at, because they're so focused. Like mum's making healthy dinners, she's not bringing KFC home before race day, because if she does that, she lets the team down. So then she's keeping to her thing. Dad's making sure your bike's mint and that you can rest while he drives. So then, oh, well, that's mint. So then you're left to make sure you're doing everything right too. You know, at school, eating freaking cherry ripes and all the bullshit, you know, that your friends are doing. They don't have a life. You know, like they come together, they make a decision and they stick to it, and there's discipline. And discipline is everything. It's huge, man. Like I struggle with food.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty good, but my discipline, bro, you put a piece of salami in me and I'll jump at it like a dog. You know what I mean? Like
that's the wogging, yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
bro, 100%. Like a bit of salami or whatever. But like, yeah, discipline, man. It's everything. And the level of rider in Europe is because it's a do or die. It's you want it or you don't. Even you watch like the top MXGP riders, man. They hang it out. True?
100%.
They, like, you watch their bikes. They got the best bikes in the world. Don't care what anyone says. But they kick and buck and front tuck and legs and they crash and their bikes are all over the place. Do you see them back off?
Look at Geyser and Lawrence.
Yeah.
At MXON.
Yeah. You do not see him back off, dude.
No. He didn't mail it in.
Balls to the wall.
Yep.
Every single time, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, remember when Hurlings broke his shoulder when he got jumped on? That is, you cannot, that is how you're raised by your parents. Like, and that is just like, you can't teach that later on. You need to just be wanting something like, you need to want it bad. Bad enough that you'll race and just, yeah, you got to be smarter than what I was, but you got to want it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in the studio for a chat, man. I'm going to love listening back to this one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you for coming in. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Inside the Helmet. If you like this episode, don't forget to give us a positive review on your preferred podcast platform, and make sure you subscribe to Mental4Moto and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'd like to say a massive thank you to Joel Milesevic for joining me here in the Moto Asylum today. He's driven 3 hours to get here, so he's done the work. And thanks to our partners for bringing you this episode. Iro, 5 Gloves, Bolt Everywhere Premium Racewear, Works Racing, Graphics by Aqua, Death Grip Products, Southeast Pools, Wolf Building Compliance, Seaview Carpentry and Maintenance, Kimber Constructions, and the March sponsor of our motocross wall calendars, Civi Light Civil Construction. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. On behalf of Mental4Moto, I've been your host, Pete Wolf. Until next time, see ya.